because you don't actually see that spot very early and you maybe just kind of forget about it. So could be interesting if that ends up happening, but it looks like their Classic is not actually going to be doing that. But we'll just, of course, scout this way anyways first, so we'll get that information nice and quickly. Whereas SHIN won't know exactly which way this probe came from, so his Overlord is not quite going in the correct direction as of yet.
Yeah, SHIN even opting to go for a pool first, so a very fortuitous scout here for Classic, getting to spot that. And actually, it's going to be a gas follow-up, so pool and extractor before going for hatchery. Might be some early shenanigans coming in by SHIN. Of course, Classic has not yet scouted this. Instead, the probe is waiting at the natural expansion to try and block the hatchery from being thrown down. And whenever you play against a pool first opening, this kind of has to be on your radar, that there might be some aggression coming your way. So Classic going to pop back here into the main base, and he will be scouting that timing.
Yeah, it's going to be a pylon block there for now, and then, of course, the drone will just be able to move away somewhere else to be able to plant that hatchery, or it's going to come back to try and mind game the cancel, but unfortunately doesn't actually get it down in time. The probe returns, so SHIN trying to be a little bit cheeky, a little bit greedy with how that probe, or sorry, how that drone was moving, and will still have his base denied for quite a long time.
Yeah, SHIN, I think he started the queen even before, a queen and an overlord before he wanted to throw down that hatchery. This hatchery's been significantly delayed. Oh, Classic wanted to go in for one more block, but hatch does get thrown down. And now Zergling speed is starting up here for SHIN.
I do like this wall off that Classic's done as well. He's actually fully walled off, it looks like, and will eventually just mine out these minerals to then get out of his base that way. So that means these early Zerglings won't be able to do anything, as the Adept will just get chronoed on out, and now there's no chance that anything bad could happen to Classic in this early game. So nice reactions overall, delaying that hatchery for a very long time, and then also setting himself up defensively very nicely with his expansion still coming up at a very nice time. So this is looking excellent for Classic, navigating this early game very well.
And even the pylon placement here, the ramp between these two players' bases. Classic throwing down both pylons and the Stargate here just out of vision of that Overlord. He's blocking exactly where SHIN might want to come in. And also for Classic, if he wants to take the forward third base from this position, it could be a pretty good one. You know, you have that nice mineral wall behind your base. You have the full wall off with the gateway of the core, the destructible debris at the front of the expansion. Classic might be angling towards eventually expanding towards SHIN, as SHIN is himself setting up a third hatchery now.
Yeah, we're just going to see exactly when the Stargate finishes what the tech of choice is going to be. Is he going to go for Oracle or Void Ray? I would be surprised if it was going to be Void Ray, to be honest. I feel like you want to get that Oracle to get scouting, because of course you've walled yourself in. You haven't been able to get any confirmation on what is actually coming up as the follow-up from SHIN, so we'll be going for the fast Oracle, of course. Even getting some extra shield batteries just in case. I'm actually kind of surprised with how defensive Classic is being with this early game, because he's already got one. He's getting a second one, just sniffing something out right now, potentially that could be aggressive, but nothing's coming his way right now. He just wants to make sure he doesn't get killed off. Because, of course, he hasn't had that follow-up scout just yet with that you normally would get with the early Adept.
Right, it was a very suspicious opening from SHIN, going for a pool before hatchery, even throwing down the gas. And so Classic is right to be kind of alarmed and cautious about what SHIN might be throwing his way. But SHIN is playing a pretty standard opening so far. Classic not able to catch any drones so far with this first Oracle. Going down to about 60 HP, and now will be heading back home to retreat. Might pair up with the second Oracle that's about to finish up. And Classic, actually, he's going to be expanding into the back expansion. So not expanding towards the opponent SHIN, instead setting up for a third Nexus over here by the 4 o'clock position. And SHIN has enough lings. I think he might be able to delay this. But not if both Oracles come back.
Yeah, nice for Classic just to make sure he can confirm that he gets this third base, so the Oracles weren't able to do all that much on the other side of the map, but that doesn't matter because you can just go ahead and secure your third base nice and easily and just continue this pattern of just making sure your economy is set up nicely and making sure that SHIN cannot get anything done with all the stuff that he's doing, all these little tricks and whatnot. So lots of early lings that are being made here for SHIN haven't found any use just yet, but we do have a very fast Baneling Nest coming in, so he might try to pull some kind of interesting trick up his sleeve as well, going for a fast Baneling attack. And actually, oh, that's not a full wall there. Those little mineral thingies with the worker path don't actually fully wall that off. So the Lings will get inside, start killing off a few of these probes before getting killed off by the Adepts and Oracles.
Yeah, we've seen this happen with Hero as well. It's very hard to actually place the Adept at the exact right position with the mineral gap, I think the hitbox are just not something the players are used to.
Yeah.
I would like to see a couple more structures thrown down whenever the third base gets taken like this and you keep some minerals up, because I think relying on just having one adept or one zealot in that little tiny gap, it makes things quite difficult to actually figure out. Or as Mapu pointed out, perhaps even taking the minerals on the far side away from the mineral path might be easier there. In any case, Classic now pushing forward with a handful of adepts. Going to see if he can get some damage done. I don't think SHIN is going to be relying on Banelings to deal with this. He has more than enough Lings that he should just be able to corral these adepts as they move on to the third base or the natural expansion, but we'll see what Classic's able to get done.
Yeah, 3 Oracles is quite a lot as well, though, so the Queens need to all be together. Otherwise, the Oracles will be able to just DPS them down very easily, and we're going to just run into the main base, but a nice catch by the Zerglings. We'll be able to deny that and force a recall. A couple of drones do get killed off as the Oracles will get a few as well as they continue to hug this path in a very funny-looking way, but then get a few on the exit as well. Okay, nicely done by Classic, actually, in the end.
It's like going to the circus and playing with the bumper cars, man. Those Oracles. That was some funny movement along the air blocker here on the map, and now SHIN going to be going for a surround. I don't think this is going to translate into too many kills. Maybe 1 or 2 adepts will get traded out here, but let's see. SHIN continuing to push in. Actually, the Stalker does fall, so not the worst of trades here for SHIN, as the game is starting to normalize a little bit. SHIN going for a Spire now. A lot more Lings actually in production. And it's notable that SHIN, he's going into the Spire and the Hydralisk Den at the same time. It seems like he's kind of hedging his bets in terms of what to do here versus the different potential setups of Classic. But SHIN is notably doing this on a relatively low drone count. He's only at 67 drones, which basically perfectly saturates 3 bases. And, you know, in a minute and a half, once the main base starts to mine out, he will be transferring some drones down to this 4th expansion. But it seems like SHIN is really focused on the short term right now.
All right, here we come with the move out for Classic with his blink finished and some Oracles still alive. We'll be able to do some pressure onto this forward 4th base. The Lings on the counterattack from SHIN, unable to do too much just yet as they're blocked in the natural. They will get into the main base, it does look like on the minimap, so those units once again out of position, so we'll get on top of this probe line, and potentially also the Templar Archives could deny Storm, would be massive. The Stalkers getting surrounded at the front as well. Classic looking in 2 different directions at the same exact time. We'll be able to deal with the Lings, but a lot of infrastructure getting killed off and the push delayed from Classic.
Yeah, losing Cybernetics Core, losing all of these Stalkers, plus 6 probes on top of it. This Ling Flood style from SHIN on just 67 drones is really starting to pay off. As SHIN coming back into the natural expansion, there are a lot of Zealots warping in with +1 ground weapon, so they can 2-shot those Zerglings. That's going to have SHIN pivot down to the 3rd base, seeing if he can find some damage, but Classic has finally buttoned up the defense with the Photon Cannon, with the shield battery. And the game might quiet down a little bit from here, but I think that was a really nice move by SHIN.
Yeah, that definitely swung the tempo more in his favor a little bit. He's actually in control of the game more so than he was earlier, since his earlier attacks weren't able to do all that much. And now the Mutas get to come in as well. In Classic, you can see his reaction on that webcam, completely unaware that this could possibly be a transition. He's got nothing to be able to defend, and that's going to just be GG. He leaves the game. SHIN with a great recovery after an early game that was not going his favor.
Yeah, man, I really thought that game might quiet down a little bit after those Lings and the static defense started to get up there for Classic.
Oh, it did quiet down, but not in the way you were probably meaning.
Not in the way that I was expecting. No, the Mutas getting on the field were just able to really destabilize Classic to the point where, you know, the position, you just considered it futile. He forfeits game number 1, and I must say, SHIN is just looking so good right now in the GSL and the RSL. There's a case being made for him being the best Zerg in Korea at the moment.
I mean, yeah, he's been having very consistent results for a good amount now. If he can continue to go far into this tournament as well and then replicate that form in this current season of GSL, I could definitely see that being one of the talking points of the current patch and the current state of StarCraft. So far, looking very nice versus Classic. Classic, despite having kind of a nice response to the early game and looking like he was kind of setting himself up very well, I think didn't really trust his gut too much. It felt like he defended the initial harass and whatnot, the early Lings, I should say. But then he was like really doubling down. He was like really unsure if SHIN was going to do some sort of follow-up all-in. He was getting those 2 shield batteries. The 3rd base was still not, it wasn't like super fast or anything like that. And I don't know, it just felt like he was, it didn't seem like he had all his eggs in one basket almost, it felt like. It felt like he was trying to do a couple of different things at the same time throughout that game.
Yeah, like he wasn't quite on the same page as what SHIN was doing.
Yeah.
There were a lot of questions there for Classic in the early game, and also being on a map like Exarch, where there are a lot of different expansion patterns you can take, especially with SHIN going for a build like that one would pull into gas into the hatchery, even after Classic delayed the natural hatchery for so long. Yeah, things were a little bit confusing there for Classic, so kind of a tumultuous early game. Not translating into a stable mid game there for Classic, but let's see if we can get off to a better start here as map number 2 is loaded in.
Who's going to be the one to try and say the name first?
Rorschach?
Rorschach, right?
Yeah, Rorschach.
Okay,
Yeah.
Rorschach. Dude, I don't know why this name just messes with my brain so much. It's so hard to say that. It doesn't look like it should be said in the way that it actually is said.
Well, it's named after a psychologist, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. It's like the psychology. He made the ink block test. I know.
Right,
yeah, but
right.
like, I don't know. The name itself is like, for some reason, it just messes with my brain entirely. But
yeah, names can be tricky.
yeah, I agree. Anyways, let's go into this game, of course, as it's going to just be hopefully a pretty standard one overall from Classic's POV. He's someone that does like to go for just the overall standard stuff in this matchup. You saw he was trying to go for the Blink Stalker Oracle play in the mid game, of course. Something that's very normal and something that he's been doing to great success overall in the last year or so. But I feel like in the last couple of months, ever since that one patch that, of course, came out after the the Storm rework and everything, it feels like Classic has been on a little bit of a downward trend overall compared to some of the other players. So it would be great if he could rebound here to try and get some of that momentum going again.
Yeah, I agree with that analysis, but also let's remember that Classic, last season in the GSL, I believe it was a top 8 finish for him. Here in the RSL, he's also, I think, already top 8 in this RSL. In the GSL Season 2, he is in top 8. So by the standards that he has created for himself by being arguably the best Protoss in the world last year, this is a bit of a turn down, but he is still one of the best players by a long shot. It's just, I think the current meta doesn't quite favor Classic style. Classic's always been capable of kind of doing anything, whether it be a timing attack or an all-in or just playing a long macro game, but I think specifically in 2025 and forward, the most defining aspect of Classic's play has been defense, macro, late game, above everything else. And we're currently in a period of StarCraft 2 where it seems like specifically in ZVP, so much of the game comes down to how well Zerg is able to deal with the early harassment of Protoss, with Adepts, with Oracles, with early timing attacks, say Blink Stalker's trying to deny a 4th base, Glaive's trying to get a bunch of drone kills, something like that. And also, Zerg trying to win in the mid-game. So it's very early focused, and I feel like Classic, in a lot of his games historically, he edges out players in the late stages, but many of the games played today are defined before we actually reach that period in any individual map. And so for a player like SHIN, who in my mind's eye is much more early game focused, much more mid-game focused, that's when he is playing at peak performance, I feel like a series like this one is better for him, And it just seems like in the current meta, a player with the late game focus of a player like Classic is going to struggle a little bit.
Yeah, we got the first Adept coming on in as well, trying to get the Scout, of course, with the Oracle coming out behind it. And we've got the Stalker as well to try and deny any Overlords that are trying to get some deep scouts and whatnot. A couple of Lings actually did wrap around the Adept, and we'll be able to get inside, so we'll see exactly what's going on. We'll try to even get a probe, but nice micro should be able to keep these probes alive from Classic, so nicely done there. And then we'll just split those two across to try and see if we can get that information as SHIN, as he will also get a probe for that single Zergling. So nice interaction there for SHIN.
Yeah, a little bit too conservative in the micro there as Classic will translate into one probe falling, but not the end of the world here. For Korean Protoss players, the first Oracle is coming into the natural expansion. No Spore Crawler done just yet, and only one Queen covering this, so we might have 3 or 4 drones getting picked off. 3 in total before the Queens from the main base are able to accompany those drones back to the mineral line. So nice little pick off there for Classic, and some good control over here, preventing the surround of the Lings there on the Adept is going to keep both of those units alive.
Yeah, I really like that Classic dove that mineral line, seeing only the one Queen, saw that the Spore Crawler was not quite done yet, took the risk, assuming there would not be another Queen just randomly behind that mineral line, so went for the drone kills, was able to get a couple of them and then get on out. A very nice play to abuse the fact that that Spore Crawler was just a little bit mistimed, but the Queen positioning was a little bit off, so not in response to be able to kill off that Oracle. Looks like the Overlord also did get killed off on the other side, so no more follow-up scouts, but SHIN did kind of get the information that he needed so far from the early game. The next big question, of course, is what the follow-up from Classic will be from the Twilight Council, which is what is normally coming up from the Protoss. Is it going to be Blink? Is it going to be a kind of a wacky charge first, which we don't see as much anymore? Is it going to be a glaive attack? Wow, okay, never mind. He's going for the charge. He will go straight into charge. I believe he's not seen a Roach Warren, so that will be a big tell for Classic to try and go into the charge Archon or charge Storm very quickly.
Yeah, because the Forge timing is a little bit faster than it normally is, I was thinking this might just be charging +1 because, you know, if Classic decides to play a very defensive game where he's getting Archons early on, he has just a couple of Templar for Storms and is pretty slow taking the 4th base, then being able to warp in, you know, a handful of Zealots at one of these ulterior bases and then just kind of rolling them across the map, trying to find damage at either the 3rd or the potential 4th base of SHIN, it's a pretty good approach in the PvZ mid-game, especially with a fast +1.
Yeah, the Oracle's still doing a little bit here and there, but nice response from SHIN. Doesn't lose, I think, more than 1 drone or so. Does react to the Stasis Ward as well. Does get the scout as well that there is the Baneling Nest coming in, so he will confirm that it is going to be a Ling Bane focus with a very forward, out of nowhere base being taken as the gold for SHIN. So he's going to be going for that fast gold base. We'll see if Classic is even thinking about this. We'll see if he even is really aware that that's there. Of course, some of these newer maps, some of the players are not as accustomed to sometimes, so might just slip the mind a little bit. So we'll see if Classic is in the headspace to even scout for that possibility.
SHIN has been doing this quite a bit recently on Rorschach, I think. I just saw a series cast by Pig between SHIN and Clem, which was absolutely worth watching, where they played here on Rorschach, and SHIN kind of did the same thing. He took the gold base there at the 12 o'clock very early on. And so I like him incorporating this. You know, oftentimes when we have new maps like this played in the RSL or in other online tournaments, it's the player who's better able to utilize the unique features of the map to their advantage that is going to be winning the series. And so SHIN coming to play here. Let's see if Classic actually is going to be spawning this 12 o'clock expansion. As of yet, he has no idea.
Yeah, he's moving out with his Oracles in some early units. He's got his War Prism loaded up with 2 Archons, but they will meet a bunch of Lings. That will be great for those Archons. They would love to be able to shoot off onto that big ball of Lings right there, and a massive warp-in of charge slots following up as well. Is the Ling Bane and the Hydras coming out from SHIN going to be enough to defend against this attack without taking devastating damage?
I don't know. Those Banelings, it's only about 6 of them morphing in here on the front lines. 4 more are about to transform, but they're only about halfway done. This gives Classic the time to actually navigate up to the top left side of this map, potentially take down this expansion. I think SHIN's going to be really relying on those Banelings to hold on to the 3 bases that he's got and the Hydras, and also, you know, crossing his fingers and hoping that Classic doesn't spot the 12 o'clock base, because if Classic goes there right now, that base is just forfeit. There's nothing I think SHIN can do to actually defend it.
Oh no, that random Hydra.
Oh boy.
Did he realize why that was there? That got rallied from that base. It doesn't seem like he's putting 2 and 2 together. Very lucky for SHIN that that is not being scouted by Classic. He saw the creep. He sees a tiny little bit of this creep, doesn't quite realize it, and that's actually massive again for SHIN. The fact that he's able to keep this gold base alive is the only thing that's going to give him leeway in the later stages of this game.
Yeah, and that's such a small sliver of creep, and the tile set of the map in that region is so dark that I don't think Classic is actually going to notice until he actually sends another unit up here. Potentially, say you grab a couple of Zealots, you kind of might shift-click them between all the different bases on their way to SHIN's side of the map. That might be the way that Classic is eventually going to be finding this 12 o'clock expansion.
All right, Prism going to be coming into the main base right now. There is a couple of Hydras in preparation, so we'll be able to get that out of there nice and easily. A couple Zealots are all that's in there, and then, of course, could have gone for a big warp-in, but not going to be happening for now. Classic will, of course, be thinking he's in a very good spot, given the fact that he thinks he killed that 4th base with no contention from SHIN. Of course, needs to realize that there is a base up here, and is so close to actually putting these pieces together, and still will not be getting that information.
I think he still just might not know. The Observer, it's in that region, it sees the army movement, but Classic just thinks, I believe, that this is SHIN setting up for a big attack.
Oh, this is kind of crazy right now. Classic needs to kind of realize this. I feel like this could get a little out of control. For now, he's not, or SHIN is not actually fully committing to the eco or anything like that. He is still going for this big attack, so it's not coming into super big effect at the moment. However, this attack is still very large, and this might be more units than Classic is expecting.
All right, Classic able to pick off just a small piece of this army. This is huge for Classic actually defending this push. As right now, SHIN, he's leveraging the gold base economy to try and go for a timing attack. So even if Classic was aware of it, I don't think he could do anything with the presence of the map that SHIN has right now to try and counter. Instead, it's all about the defense as SHIN is getting in on this fourth base, taking on both sides. The Storm's coming down, able to catch a lot of those Banelings, also getting some good damage on the Hydras. Simultaneously, Banelings running into the third base. 15 probes and counting are going to fall. I think Classic might have just enough to hold on here, but the economic damage, it's pretty substantial.
Yeah, some more units are still streaming in for SHIN, so he's going to still try to keep this location, but tons of Archons are still on the field. Lots more Storms coming on out, so this will be a defense for Classic. More Zealots coming in on the Warpin as well. Should be able to define a defense.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the final 2 days now of the RSL. This is our last weekend with you guys for Season 5. I'm Tasteless. Joined with me is Sturgeon. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Very excited to see how Season 5 kind of wraps up. We have so many different storylines, it feels like. Will we finally get a Zerg champion? Will Clem get his first RSL? Or will all roads lead back to Hero, as they so often do?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different kind of results we could end up getting here. Again, you know, for RSL, at least in the seasons that we've had so far, it has been very Protoss dominant. So it's exciting to see how well the Zergs are doing. We've got a lot of great Zergs we're going to be casting for you guys here today. And we've got, you know, some foreign players, some non-Korean players is maybe the better way for me to say it, who have gone deep. So Hero versus Clem. That's going to be later on today here. That's in the winner's bracket. And over here in the loser's bracket, which we'll be doing both sides of, is going to be Lambo versus SHIN, and then Solar versus Rogue. So an all-out Zerg civil war down there.
Yeah, lots of ZVZ action, followed by a top-level PvT, Hero and Clem. Oh, I can't wait to watch that one.
That's going to be so sick.
It is going to be so sick, man. And then, obviously, tomorrow we have the remaining games of the season. We will crown our champion for Season 5. And see who that's going to be.
Yeah, and we appreciate you guys joining us earlier here than our normal start time. We kind of decided it would be better to just get this going, make a longer day, and kind of stretch the whole last, you know, hurrah of the season out here. By the way, special thanks to Archon Studio. They are the maker of the StarCraft Tabletop Miniatures game. They have been supporting us ever since Season 1 of the RSL when we announced, and they're here with us now. They are the makers of the Tabletop Miniatures game, and it is such a great product. We have it here in the studio. Definitely check them out.
Indeed. Here is our schedule. You can see we're on the last 2 days now. It is a 4 p.m. KST start. We have 3 games today, 3 matches, and then tomorrow on the 31st, it would also be an early start at 4 p.m. KST, and we will be finishing up all of the season then. What a month of StarCraft has been.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Not just GSL and RSL, ASL just wrapped up. Definitely check out that season as well if you haven't already. And so, yeah, I'm super excited to see how the rest of the season is going to pan out here over the next 2 days. But so far, we're going to basically get that golden ratio no matter what. We've got a Terran and a Protoss in the winner's match, and then we've got 4 Zergs here in the loser's match. So we're going to have at least one of each race.
Yeah, so the next round in the loser's bracket is guaranteed to be a Zerg, right?
Yeah.
So we're guaranteed, yeah, like you said, Protoss, Terran, and a Zerg.
Yeah, it's great. So
it's awesome to have some variety.
Well, it's better than our previous seasons, I'll say that much. So this is going to be Lambo versus SHIN. Lambo, by the way, playing really well this season. Been super excited to have him here at this RSL. But SHIN has probably been in the best shape we've ever seen. I mean, he had an incredible run in the GSL last season.
SHIN is playing out of his mind, finally getting that win on Maru after so long, and I'm just so impressed with his growth recently. He's become such a top Zerg, and his late game has improved so much, I feel like. He used to be really strong in the early and mid game, but now I feel like he's becoming even more complete. He's playing even faster. I definitely look at him as, you know, one of the stronger Zergs right now. Lambo, on the other hand, I mean, this is his first RSL, and he's still in. Don't forget, Maru went out in the group stages. Like, this is not an easy tournament, and he's still in, going up against SHIN here. The creator of the Zerg Academy himself. Hopefully we're going to see some more good games.
Yeah, this should be a fun one. And it looks like we're actually ready to get into this match. Remember that the loser is going to be knocked out of the RSL. The winner goes on to trudge through that loser's bracket that is full of so many great players. A lot of ZVZs for you guys here today. And we're going to start this off here in Game 1. Shin in the bottom right and Lambo here in the top left.
Yeah, indeed. A ZVZ on Ruby Rock to kick things off here. And Zerg versus Zerg, just for people who maybe haven't seen too much of it recently, as I feel like I haven't seen that many ZVZs, but just playing the matchup and what I have seen, mutas are very good in this matchup right now. So a lot of the meta is kind of revolving around either going mutas yourself in the mid game or doing some kind of quick timing to either kill your opponent or get an advantage before they can get mutas out. So we'll have to see kind of how much these games centralize around the Mutalisk and, you know, how these players are going to form their strategies.
Yeah, ZVZ. We had a couple of them in this most recent GSL. We've had some pretty insane epic late game ZVZs. I mean, they don't have to be long ever, right? Because one side can just opt to all in. And with Lambo's ZVZ specifically, I'm not too familiar on what he's been approaching the matchup with idea-wise or anything else like that. You know, Shin, he's one of the guys, obviously, being a caster based in Korea. I see him pretty regularly.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure who's going to be the favorite here. I do think Shin, again, is in incredible shape. He's had some great results. I think you just look at the games, not just results, actually, but the games themselves. I think he's looked really skilled and really improved. So I don't think this will be an easy one here for Lambo. But that being said, Lambo certainly could take it.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be very interesting to see their form in ZVZ. Right now, we do see it's pretty standard openings here. Both these players going for hatches first and going for their gas and pull. Nothing crazy so far in the early game. And basically, once Ling speed finishes is around the time we might start to see some pressure from either player. We're going to be looking to see their third base timings here in the near future. See what they're up to.
Yeah. So, sometimes in ZVZ, and I think this game might not be an exception here, it's like we got to wait and see when the deviation in the production tab is. Like right now we have Ling speed started. I don't see Ling speed starting just yet here for Lambo, so we might have that first moment coming up here. He's already banked up 150 gas.
Yeah, he has not got Ling speed, which indicates he's going to go fast layer, and there we do see it now. Very cool out of Lambo so far. So how is he going to use this? Is he going to... I mean, two-base Mutalisk is not as good in ZVZ as perhaps ZVT, for example. So I would imagine this is a two-base Roach opener. And then he'll take his third a little bit later. But there's definitely a bunch of different stuff you can do with this fast layer.
Yeah. And whenever you go for fast layer, it's pretty common to basically fortify your entrance here. So we've got the Evo Chamber and the Roach Warren here. Whenever you go for two-base play where you're turtled up like this, it can be ambiguous on the other side what exactly is coming for you. Is it going to be Muta? Is it going to be some kind of tech? Like in this case, we're looking at Lambo. He's getting the missile attack upgrade. He's going for those roaches. This could be a roach timing attack. We also need to see, is Shin going to take a third base? And in this case, he is.
Yeah, Shin's got his third down. Lambo's upgrade is nice and fast here. Even adding in that second Evo chamber right now. And basically the way this will pan out is Lambo's going to have his tech online quicker. He's going to have faster roach speed, faster +1, faster roaches. And then Shin's going to try and play with a slightly higher worker lead. Right now these Lings trying to kill this queen at the front. Do we have a transfuse available? Not necessary, as there are 3 queens now. The second Evo chamber just to plug up the wall. I don't think he'll be getting a second upgrade. When you go roaches, the carapace upgrade is nowhere near as impactful as the +1 missiles, obviously.
Yeah. The question will be now for Shin, can he actually hold this attack that's going to be headed his way? By the way, even when you see the Evo chambered out here like this, there are build orders that can be designed to look like it's something like this when it's actually not. Now, that's not the case. There's nothing really deceptive about this. The tech's kind of out there in the front. This queen is going to be transfused, but if the positioning of it is a little bit bad. Now, that did kill off a decent amount of Lings. And so what he's going to do from here is basically full send this. Yeah. So there's going to be queens inbound here with these roaches. There's not going to be as many transfuses, but he also basically took care of the Lings that were counterattacking here. And if this is going to work for Lambo, it's going to end the game right now.
Yeah, he's only on 29 workers. This is very all in right now. Very committed here. He needs to get Huge damage done. He has no third behind this. Very low worker count. The Queen's starting to make their way across. The Overlords drop the creep to help them get across the map faster here. And SHIN frantically making as many roaches as he can. We see he's 5 behind now in the roach count. Lambo just waiting for these Queens, and now he's going to start going.
Yeah, the Queens, they get slowed down not on creep here. He's going to come up now. The angling here for SHIN is pretty good. Remember, the upgrade advantage is better right now for Lambo, so that's what he's got going for him. But the travel time to get here with the other roaches is going to slow him down a little bit. So the question for SHIN is, does he have enough to produce out to hang on before Lambo ends up getting the breaking point? And I got to say, right now, it looks like he does not.
Yeah, Lambo's starting to take some very good trades here. The Queens all getting low for SHIN, transfusing as much as they can, but the roach count has dropped off a cliff. Only 2 roaches remaining for SHIN right now on his last legs in game number 1. Lambo pushes into the natural. The drones are pulled. A last defense here attempt by SHIN, but I just don't think he has enough.
I love him running all the way out here and really forcing these drones far away from the minerals. He's going to be morphing Ravagers here on the injured roaches to basically optimize, any lost HP, turn that into a benefit. GG Lambo takes that game with a very clean, straightforward timing attack. I was a little bit worried back there when I saw the rush coming out. The first Queen was killed off. Although, I don't know, maybe that's intentional to have it kind of hanging out a little bit too far so that you overcommit with the Lings. So that, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I was actually really worried he was going to show the roaches.
Right.
They kind of came down into the natural while the Lings were there, but I think SHIN didn't see it. His response was pretty good. He started making roaches after he was 9 drones ahead, which is borderline acceptable, but Lambo's execution was really good. And that kind of looked to me like one of those standard 2-base roach builds where you take the third as you pressure roaches and drone behind it. It's like a very tricky build to kind of read and start making units at the right time.
Yeah,
as SHIN.
I think you're right that he basically kept the Queens out there far enough and didn't show any roaches. Like he really just needs to kind of get out there and take another base. And SHIN did not have what he needed to hold that off. So beautifully done by Lambo. I doubt he'll do that again in this series. I think you have to have a bigger range of play than that. But a win is a win. He's that much closer in this best of 5 to taking it.
I love his approach to this series as well. Not playing like a defensive style like we could sometimes expect from Lambo. But I think of him as a very macro-orientated player. So going for a really decisive timing like this in game number 1 kind of sets the tone that, he's prepared to do anything. He's going to be unpredictable. So SHIN's going to have to be on his toes for the rest of the series now for these kind of timings as we move into map number 2 on Missing You Today.
Yeah, so let's see what Lambo does this time around. That was one of those games where you don't really know what the game would have looked like had it gone on further for SHIN because he never really got to get the game to that point. SHIN is going to go for a pool first. 13 pool here.
Yeah, going to go for the pool first, mix it up a little bit. He is in the top left, Lambo in the bottom right. So maybe his turn to pressure somewhat in the early game here as Lambo is going for his hatchery first. Going for the slightly more standard opener. Let's see what he wants to do with this pool first. We have no gas on the way just yet. So maybe just a pull into hatchery, make sure he's super safe against any kind of, cheeses or early pulls that Lambo might try. He will throw down his pool now before the gas. So this is still pretty economic. It's not that far behind a hatch first in terms of just your minerals and, your benchmarks, etc.
Right.
But you're a lot safer.
Yeah, I think the safe opening is fine, but I don't think this is great versus what Lambo's doing. If I understand the interactions, Lambo's going to have a couple more workers. The Lings are going to hatch, but I think basically the Queen and the Lings over here for Lambo should be out by the time the Lings get there.
Yeah, maybe a little bit
slightly
after.
later.
Yeah, he'll probably hit the hatchery for a while as the Zerglings are being made. SHIN's going back into drones right now, so this isn't going to be some crazy all-in where he pulls drones and makes spine crawlers or anything like that. This is just a 6-sling pressure. Try to get Lambo to overreact here while he drones behind it. Now taking his gas. And yeah, we have to see just how Lambo's going to deal with this. The Ling's actually running around the Overlord there.
Yeah, so this is going to blindside Lambo pretty quickly here. He's not going to have a lot of time to react. He's going to have to pull his drones immediately. And he's going to do just that.
Yeah, you don't want to lose either of these drones if you can avoid it, but good micro there by SHIN. Does pick off one. He's going to have to stack these drones on one of the mineral patches. Or just attack in here, trying to micro and lose as few as he can.
Oh, that was really good control there by Lambo.
Yes.
Lings are going to dive back in again. Again, Lambo's control is pretty damn good. He does end up getting 3 Lings there right at the end, last second, and that's going to make the worker count basically even, 20-20. And we have both players, you know, roughly in the same place, except that Lambo already has his Ling speed halfway done, and a Baneling's Nest has started.
Yeah, the kind of gas advantage here for Lambo is very big. His tech is a lot further along than SHIN's is, as he is just now making extra queens. I would be surprised if he goes for Ling speed here. I think he'll go straight into like a 2-base Roach build. I'm trying to go for Ling speed at this point, and then Bane, and then take a quick third. You're just going to be so far behind.
Yeah, you're just playing from behind,
Yeah.
no matter what. 10 Lings are being made here, as we're going to have the counter punch come in. Now, there's an Evo chamber down here. There's 3 queens at the entrance. We see the Roach Warren coming up here. But, you know, a lot of Lings could bust this wide open.
Yeah, if those Evos finish, though, it's going to be difficult. They, you know, have a lot of HP. The Zerglings don't kill them that quickly. Balins will be available as well. And right now, the question is just, when does SHIN see this? I don't think that his Overlord saw those Lings leave the natural there, so he might actually get blindsided by this and be unprepared.
Yeah, he nudged the queen away. Here come the Banes. There's just 1 queen over here. Now he's going to plug up behind that. So
Now he knows.
Yeah, so he's going to wedge the queen a little bit further. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
He
the
actually
tumor
fit
was
through
there.
Oh, that was crazy. Okay.
Oh, the Bane doesn't go up. Okay, the Bane goes off and the Lings actually get in. Ragnarok in so much trouble right now. The wall does not go up. All the drones forced to be pulled here, and SHIN...
Oh my god, these Banes are going to come up here. They're chasing the drones, and they have not even been hit by the queens. He's going to try to do a spread. He's going to juke back this way.
Oh,
1
my
Bane connects.
God.
Oh my god, he's going to lose all of these drones. This whole series is moving so fast. The Banes are going to come back up here. The Roaches have to try to catch the Banes. They get the first. They're not going to quite be able to reach the second. The Lynx can't catch it either. The Bane's going to wrap around and go in here for the dive. The drones are pulled. He's going to try to meet him on the other side.
There's chaos in the natural as well. What a huge connection.
Oh my god, did you see SHIN just with a fist slam on the table?
Man.
Damn.
Those are some huge Banelin on drone connections man.
That was crazy. Yeah.
That's the kind of
moment.
moment that hurts.
Looped right back around.
Whoa.
That was really impressive by Lambo. Got to be a frustrating set so far here from SHIN. I mean,
Yeah.
we barely got started here. These are 2 super short, super fast ZVZs. And in both games, Lambo just coming in with a really sharp timing and punting SHIN to the next match.
Yeah, I feel like SHIN's kind of like, can you let me play the game a bit here? Can
Yeah.
I do what I actually want to? Can I get my build going a bit? Lambo, just like you say, being very decisive, hitting these early timings, and he's up 2-0.
He looks incredible. Lambo, I mean, it's going to be hard for SHIN to win 3 games in a row, especially with Lambo already showing that his timings are pretty sharp. And SHIN, I think SHIN's expecting a macro game, and Lambo's just not giving it to him. Yeah, I mean, it's looking rough. By the way, guys, consider signing up for our Patreon. It's patreon.com/ReviveSC2. If you join, depending on your tier, you can get replays, you can vote on the maps, you can vote on the players. We've got guest spots here. It's been an incredible run for us here at the RSL, but we could not do it without community support. We want to have regular seasonal StarCraft 2 content that you can basically enjoy all throughout the year, and not just stuff out of our broadcast studio, but we did just last year an offline event that was crazy. It was a blast. We got to see a lot of you guys in person, and we have the same plans this year as well.
Yeah, you can also ask questions. If you want to know what
can ask
Tasteless
questions.
thinks about the patch,
That's right.
get into the Patreon.
That's
Submit them.
right. Well, here's what I'll tell you. I told Blizzard we only want to start with 2 workers. Okay, so they're going to change that in the next
Two-pool.
match. Yeah.
How long does that take?
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, guys, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to continue on with this best of 5 here in the losers bracket between SHIN and Lambo.
Economy is going to be way bigger than the Protoss. I mean, SHIN was close to, 90-plus workers. Classic was struggling to even saturate the 3rd mineral line with how much harassment was coming his way. Beautifully played game there by SHIN.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate because Classic got the scout so early that there were mutas, and he was prepared. He had the cannon set up, he had the second Stargate coming in, he had multiple Phoenix being made in preparation, but he didn't quite realize he took the the fake bait, I guess. He thought that it was just going to be a couple of mutas just trying to bait him to switch his tech, and then he paused on the Phoenixes. Then he got the confirmation, but it was like just slightly too late, and then the mutas and corruptors just started getting slight trades here and there, probes getting killed off in each mineral line, and it just really started to snowball for SHIN from that point.
It felt to me like the two key mistakes the Classic made, even though, I mean, these are insane situations. It's so hard to do everything perfectly.
Yeah, exactly.
It was pulling Maxim of the ground army to the main base. When the Mutalisks and Corruptors were initially coming in, I think it was just Classic panicking perhaps a little bit, scrambling to try and defend, because we had Immortals and Zealots in the main base that weren't defending the economy of Classic on the ground. And then also, I go back to the +1 air weapons. I really do think it would have made a difference early on against such a Corruptor-heavy regiment of units in the air there for SHIN. In any case, SHIN just outperforming Classic there in game number 3, and now it is match point here in this best of 5. SHIN just needs to win one more map to advance to the next round at the lower bracket quarterfinals. Classic, if he loses here on 10,000 feet, he is out of the RSL.
And it's true. Although this is, I would say, a fairly good map for him to try and make this comeback happen on. I think this map would suit his style overall. Classic, of course, like we've been saying, over the series, likes to try and be very passive and defensive and make it to that late game. Looks like SHIN, realizing this, will be trying to stop that from happening, as he's sent actually 2 drones across the map with an early pool and an early gas. He's going to be going for actually the extractor on the left, and he's going to try to mine out these minerals. He's going to mine the minerals, and then he goes into the gas, and it replaces the minerals with gas, so then you can mine more minerals. So you don't have to bring a whole bunch of drones to do that quickly. You can do it with just 1 or 2. So this is going to be a very aggressive strategy coming from SHIN. He's going to try to end this game before Classic has any chance to bring it to a macro stage.
And how quickly is Classic going to realize this? I think he's already going to throw down the second pylon here.
Nice.
Well, you see that the mineral line of SHIN is just so sparsely populated that something has got to be up. If Classic was paying close attention, he wouldn't see that there's already one mineral patch that has been mined out here, and he's actually going to confirm it. Oh, he didn't actually see the extractor. I think Classic knows.
He should know, because he's going to see it with the pylon as well.
If he didn't know already, he knows now.
Yeah, so he gets that confirmation. We'll know exactly what's going on. He's going to rally that Zealot down there as well, and he's got his probe coming up, so he's going to be able to help with that wall off. So this should be pretty easily defended from Classic, I would say. This has not worked out the way that SHIN has wanted just yet. Of course, you can still kill this probe, and you might be able to sneak on past, as the Zealot is not quite in the same position there. So we'll get into the main base, but this is still looking like it's going to be a defense overall from Classic, and it's going to be up to SHIN to be able to respond and react, of course, getting his hatchery down there as well as natural, trying to go into a macro game.
Well, we did have more lings produced by SHIN, so he's going to be trying to get some damage done there in the natural expansion, but I'm right there with you. I feel like you have to try and transition out of this as SHIN. It was a bold play, going for the fast mine out there on the minerals, but he hasn't yet been able to breach into the base of Classic, except for just a small number of lings, and he might actually be able to take down this gateway. If Classic doesn't throw down another structure, okay, he does throw down another structure. The thing is that the damage output of 2 adepts at the wall-in is going to be so high. I'm not sure SHIN can make this work, but you might as well try and get some damage done with the lings that you've already got, right?
Yeah, I like that he did kill the gateway, though, because that does actually limit the amount of potential counter damage that the Protoss could do. There is speed, so it's still risky to go for that in general, but sometimes when you do go for these early attacks as the Zerg player, a threat is if they respond with 2 gateways, they could then just run across the map with a lot of Zealots and Adepts and make it very difficult for you to take a third base or to drone up at your natural. But that's going to be less of an issue, of course, with speed and with one of the gateways getting killed off, so I like that SHIN tried it. Classic's natural also was pretty late, considering the fact that he went for this double gate response as well. So there's still leeway here for SHIN to try and get back in this early game, I would say. It's not like he's been at a total loss, because of course this will be a delayed natural from Classic. But now is the question of, can he defend these triple adepts?
Oh, that queen pops out of the opportune moment. The evolution chamber thrown down as well. Shades will get past that. They're going to find their way into the main base, but the lings have already come back from across the map. That's going to lead to a cancel and perhaps a recall? No, no recall. Okay, finally now it's coming through, but I think in total we might have had only 1 drone. No, 0 drones picked off by Classic. Oh, SHIN's got to be feeling so good about that.
Yeah, that's a great defense. I mean, 3 adepts at that point when your lings were a bit out of position as well. Very easy to lose.
Welcome back, everybody, to the RSL. We're in the penultimate day right now in the first series, best of 5 CBZ between Lambo and SHIN. It's already 2-0 in Lambo's favor after 2 really quick games, Sturgeon.
Yeah, he's speedrunning this set right now. Is he going to be able to take it 3-0, or will SHIN finally fight back?
I honestly think the break that we had there in between game number 2 and game number 3 is going to be good for Shin, because he seemed kind of rattled after he lost 2 games in kind of similar ways. Lambo just pulling the trigger early on. Game number 1, fast roach pressure off of that lair. Game number 2 coming in with the Banelings and the Zerglings. I think Shin's going to try and hunker down and either go for aggression of his own here in game number 3 or just really try to nail the defense.
Yeah, I think that's a good point you made about the break. Sometimes just having a step back, a moment to collect yourself can really help when your opponent has a lot of momentum, when they win games, back to back very, very quickly. Sometimes you just need a breather, and that is what Shin has had as we move into game number 3 on Old Republic.
Yeah, Lambo spawning as the red Zerg in the top right, Shin, the blue Zerg in the bottom left. And my eyes mostly are going to be on Lambo here. Is he going to once more go for an early aggressive build? He's already shown 2 different aggressive builds to start off this series, and they have worked wonderfully for him.
Yeah, what a flipping of the script in a way. Lambo being the person to be the aggressor against these Korean Zergs, as it traditionally feels like the European Zergs, not that they won't be aggressive, but that they are usually the ones who tend to macro, play more defensively. Some of them anyway, but in this set, not the case at all. Lambo coming out with some killer timings here in the first 2 games. And will he do so again?
Yeah, Lambo's a really smart player, and he has a lot of well-crafted builds. And whenever you have a player like that who's willing to play aggressively like he did in game number 1 and game number 2, oh, you're in for a treat, because some of these are the most refined timing attacks and all-ins you could possibly see. And Lambo's already shown in this RSL so far that he's willing to be aggressive against basically everybody. I can't remember the Protoss player he was going up against before, but we had proxy hatches, we had early rushes coming in from Lambo. Even though Lambo, traditionally you think about him as a player who's a great optimizer, excellent at just finding the little tiny advantages that can add up into a huge economic boom. Well, he's turned that really around here in the RSL.
Absolutely, and it would be an insane story if he was able to get top 3 in his first RSL run ever. So we'll have to see if that is the case, or if Shin's able to, fight back here, take us to a game 4, maybe 5. See if we can go the distance. Right now, both players opening fairly standard. We got the hatch, we got the gas, and the pool going down for both of them. Identical builds right now. Look at that production tab state.
It's my favorite.
It's beautiful,
I
man.
love a ZVZ where both Zergs are doing the exact same thing. But we did have a little bit of a deviation after the first 100 gas was mined in game number 1, with the Shin going for a fast Zergling speed and Lambo opting to go for a 2-hatch lair build. But here in game number 3, different story. Identical build still. So both players fire up Zergling speed.
Yeah, both of them going down to 2 gases in the main. Going to be able to get their third base just that little bit quicker. 2 lings out on the map just to scout, see what the other guy is up to as they run around now. Actually, splitting both their lings into 1 ling packs each, just so each of them can confirm that the other has a third, whilst not letting the other ling hit their third base for free.
Now look at this though, Sturgeon. We have a Baneling Nest being thrown down by Lambo, and a Baneling Nest being thrown down by Shin.
Yeah, so that's
it's still completely mirrored.
I was like, where are you going with this? That's the same thing.
Well, I mean, whenever you play a standard backer game like this one, I guess this is kind of the way it's going to go in a ZVZ. So we're going to wait and see exactly who's going to be able to pull the trigger first in terms of pumping the aggression with a lot of lings. You see there, the larva, a lot more drones being made here by Lambo. Actually, 7 more drones being made by Lambo. And now it's Shin, who's changing gears a little bit. 10 Zerglings in production.
Yeah, so he's going to be the player, put on a little bit more pressure, making a few more sets of Zerglings than Lambo. And then he's going to go back into droning behind this. Lambo does have his own defensive Bane coming in, an extra Queen as well to help out with the defense. So he does see this with the Overlord. He should be able to reactively make links, and then we see 14 in production.
Yeah, those 3 Banelings should be an early head start for here at Lambo on the defense. As Shin's going to try and see if he can cancel this third base, but with not too many lings to assist the Banelings here, you have to be careful as Lambo. Shin, he might just pull off 2 or 3 Zerglings to try and pop those Banelings if he can.
Wow, and Lambo's read this so well. He actually started droning during this attack, so he knows this is not like a crazy all-in, sustained Ling Bane pressure. It's just going to be these initial lings back into droning for Shin, getting the Roach Warren, getting extra gas. And that's pretty good for Lambo that he was able to read that so quickly. Despite that, he has a few workers down, so I would say this pressure has worked out quite well for Shin.
They're getting started on both sides as the Roach Warrens are finishing up. And when all is said and done, there was a brief window where Lambo had the income advantage because Shin had decided to divvy up all of those larvae into lings and go for the pressure. But I think the rug is going to pull back the other way now with Shin a little bit advantaged Now 2 drones up versus Lambo. Let's wait to see exactly where this one is going to go. 2 more gases being taken here by SHIN. I feel like this is mostly going to be for roaches. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Lambo do the exact same thing.
Yeah, just being on 4 gas right now is enough to get your roaches going. 2 more gases on the way for Lambo as well. Could look to do something like Roach Muta, where you make enough roaches to not die and then get the Spire behind it. We have the later Evo chamber coming in for Lambo as well. The +1 well on the way for SHIN right now.
SHIN might try and leverage the faster +1 timing for some sort of timing attack with this, but we'll see how it's going to go.
Oh.
Evolution Chamber finishing up here for Lambo, and it's actually SHIN who throws down the Spire.
Yeah, interesting. I thought it might maybe Lambo with the faster gases. Lambo making 10 roaches right now, making a ton of those as his roach speed is on the way. He has no upgrade in production right now. Lambo's on 55 drones. He might be looking for a big time in here before +1 can finish for SHIN.
Yeah, he just now starts up range attack and then cancels it. So he's trying to fake that out versus the Overseer here of SHIN. And it's a Nidus network being thrown down here by Lambo. So he's not even waiting for a +1 timing attack. He just wants a full send right now with all the roaches in production. This could be very good versus a SHIN who's going into a Spire Tech right now. Mutalisks, they are famously poor at head-on engagements.
Yeah, SHIN will have his +1 done by the time this timing hits, but if Lambo brings the queens, just in case a few Mutalisks get out, I can see this hitting very, very hard. And will SHIN be ready for this? He sees the roaches moving. Actually, no, there's no Overlord in that path, is there? So I think these roaches have got across. Ooh, he does see one there.
Yeah, SHIN has a good idea this is coming. He's pumping up a lot more roaches. Nidus Network does get spotted here in the main base, and with Lambo, he doesn't have a lot of anti-air right now. He's not trying to set up the Nidus Network to ferry the queens on a SHIN side of the map. He just wants to be able to reinforce with roaches so quickly that the mutas, if there are mutas on the field, which I think Lambo has not yet spotted, it's not going to matter because the roaches will just be able to make quick work of the hatcheries, of the drones, of all the infrastructure there of SHIN. And now we have the first engagement coming in.
Yeah, 7 mutas in production, but will they even be a factor in this game? Because the roach fight is happening right now. The Nidus goes down immediately. SHIN actually has quite a lot here. Lambo kiting as best he can, trying to get a good arc, spreading out these roaches. The numbers look fairly similar, but SHIN's actually getting the better end of this engagement right now. Lambo forced to retreat for the moment. Yeah,
being able to snipe the Nidus was huge for SHIN in that engagement because if all these roaches were able to reinforce right from the onset, Lambo would have cleaned the enemy forces up. Instead, now it's SHIN being able to isolate these roaches that just popping out of the Nidus. A lot of roaches will fall here for Lambo, but it opens up an opportunity for him to attack the third base.
Yeah, mutas are out now. There's nothing that shoots up here for Lambo, so he has to do something in this game quickly, or mutas will just kill everything. There is a lot of roaches here for Lambo. Bile just misses the back of that army, but it looks like SHIN just has enough here. And how do you fight these Mutalisks, State?
I think Lambo was hoping that one of these Nidus networks would have gotten set up a little bit earlier so he could reinforce the roaches. Instead, it's SHIN who's able to defend the pressure from Lambo. We'll get on the board right now. It is 2-1 in Lambo's favor, but SHIN fighting back, starting the potential reverse sweep in this best of 5.
Yeah, it's awesome to see. I think you pointed out the Nidus going down there was kind of the big moment of the game because there were so many roaches in it trying to reinforce the army. If those get out and help out in the first roach engagement, that could suddenly go Lambo's way and then it could snowball out of control.
Yeah, it's a bit of a risk there for Lambo trying to reinforce through the Nidus network because if the Nidus does pop on the other side of the board, well, yeah, you are reinforcing way faster than you would normally just by streaming the roaches across the map. But I think it was the first 2 Nidus networks getting denied there by SHIN. One was in the main base of SHIN. He was able to clean that up just with Lings and Queens. And then SHIN actually pounced on the position of Lambo at the 6 o'clock expansion, probably knowing that Lambo was trying to set up another Nidus network to reinforce, and he did not let that one get up. So Lambo, for maybe 30 seconds, 45 seconds, had all these roaches just kind of sequestered into this Nidus network that weren't streaming across the map, that weren't reinforcing. And SHIN, with smaller army numbers, as a result, was able to just take these little piecemeal fights over Lambo, trade out favorably, and build up the muta count and win.
Yeah, once the mutas come out, it's kind of a checkmate scenario, right? You have nothing that shoots up with that army of Lambo. It's, it's a big committed attack. You're not transitioning into Hydras behind it. You didn't bring your Queens. So you have to get the damage done with the roaches. SHIN, though, reads the build very well, defends very well. It's actually very difficult to defend the Nidus in your main and still hold a frontal roach push at the same time. So props to him. He takes us to a game 4 as we move into At Eternity's Edge.
Yeah, map number 4 loaded in. Lambo spawning in the top left is the red Zerg. SHIN, the blue Zerg, down at the bottom right. And it was a fairly quiet early game there in game number 3. I was really expecting somebody to be a little bit more aggressive, just given the way that game 1 and game 2 went for Lambo. He delivered 2 early aggressive builds, and both of them were just incredibly successful. I kind of thought that would be the running theme here, at least until SHIN was able to defend one of them.
Yeah, I mean, he did go for the Nidus, I guess, trying to be aggressive, but much later than the first 2 games, right? The first 2 games were super aggressive early on, just trying to end the game before any roach tech is coming out or upgrades. And right now we have the faster gas on the way for SHIN here. Lambo just adding his own now. There's a slight difference in the order of Hatchery and Overlord in the beginning.
Yeah, quite a few more drones here for Lambo as SHIN has been cutting worker production to try and get the gas and the spawning pool up about as quickly as possible here. And both players are going for an expansion, but I imagine SHIN behind this will try and get something done.
Yeah, the pool is significantly quicker here, so this might be like, a crazy build where you make a bunch of lings, hide them in your base, and then flood with them later on. Something like that. Or maybe he's just playing a bit safer, getting the pool earlier. We'll have to see how he wants to use this as it does finish up soon.
It feels like it would be almost too safe to go for gas this quickly and the spawning pool this quickly here for SHIN. So we'll see how many lings he actually is going to make, because I think with this kind of opening here for SHIN, you're probably going to queue out a couple more drones before you start up the link production. But once the link production ramps up, I mean, speed will be so much faster here for SHIN. Like 10 seconds in terms of Zergling speed is pretty significant if you're actually all the way across the map with your lings already and you're able to get a surround on a smaller Zergling force, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, if you fight lings with speed and you don't have speed, you can just lose the game instantly, especially if you don't have your wall up yet. Right now, though, we do see him just drone in for the moment as he goes into the kind of mid-20s here. And he did keep mining gas for a while there. Lambo does. And we see the Baneling Nest going down here for SHIN.
A Baneling Nest for SHIN. Lambo, if he wanted to, could afford a Baneling Nest here. And he's actually going for a fast third base. This kind of feels like the best case scenario here for SHIN. Lambo is stretching himself quite thin early, going for the fast third expansion. And if SHIN decides to go for some sort of Ling Baneling timing attack with a faster speed, with a faster pool, I think he could leverage that slight military advantage in terms of the pacing of this upgrade, in terms of the pacing of the tech, for pressure done. But he hasn't made any Zerglings just yet. So maybe you hit the nail on the head the first time, that it was more just a safety mechanism.
I did think it looked like it would be a Ling Flood build, but I mean, he hasn't made them until now, after Ling speed is done almost. But we do see 14 in production with the third base behind it. So it's going to be kind of a Ling pressure into his own third base and maybe try to drone up behind this. We'll have to see how much he wants to commit into it. He already has quite a lot of Lings, actually. 5 workers behind Lambo. This is going to be a lot of aggression. And the Baneling Nest is finished for Lambo. He starts making 2 Banelings instantly. That's going to be a big help for him. But he's also going into lair as well, and he might need those resources to help him defend it.
Going into a lair, adding an additional Vespene Geyser and a faster third base. So Lambo with a lot of commitments that aren't necessarily going to be helping him defend in the short term. And SHIN is making 5 Banelings behind this, so he is absolutely going to try and get something done here. He thinks he can either force an overreaction here from Lambo or get the deny on the third base.
Yeah, that would be the dream scenario.
No!
Oh! 2 Banelings take out about 5 or so there. Disastrous trade for SHIN. And that kind of just kills the pressure dead, I feel like.
Yeah, those 5 Banelings, they had so much potential really to complicate the defense for Lambo, but Lambo being able to trade out 2 of his own Banelings for 5 of SHIN's, it makes things so much easier now.
Did Lambo cancel his layer, by the way? I don't see in the production tab, and it feels like... Oh, he did finish?
I think it just finished.
Okay. So it just finished as that attack was happening. I wasn't sure if he canceled it to get a few more resources or if it finished up. And he's going to go into a quick Spire behind this. And I feel like if SHIN just sits back and Lambo is able to make Mutalisk, take map control, clear all the Overlords out, he's going to be in a very good spot here.
Yeah, I think this is a very smart move coming in from Lambo. SHIN has a later third base, and SHIN, as compensation for that, tried to get something aggressive done on Lambo's side of the map and just completely failed. Those 5 Banelings getting cleaned up. I know it's a very small trade, but it's not really about the army value for army value trade over that engagement. Like a 3 Baneling difference, sure, it's not very much, but the main thing to look at is Lambo getting a faster third base, getting quicker saturation. The income advantage for Lambo has been huge. And now that Lambo has secured the defense, and he's even been able to get a little bit aggressive here on SHIN's side of the map, these Lings flooding into the main base before thinking better of it, Lambo is going to be leveraging that into more greed, this time with the tech, going into the Spire. I just think this is brilliant because SHIN is not in a position to punish it at all.
Yeah, and he's keeping up the pressure so much. It's going to be difficult for SHIN to think, like, what is Lambo doing back home as he's microing Ling Bane, you know? So these Mulists may come as a total surprise here. And he's got so many Zerglings out on the map, continuing this pressure. Moving down to the third now. Lambo's microed really well, splitting off a couple Lings here and there to take out the Banelings of SHIN. Wow, actually spends the Banelings on the Spore. When you go Mutalisks, I mean, maybe that's worth it if you can get the Mutas in there.
Yeah, SHIN did spot the Spire, as Mark was pointing out, with his Scout. So SHIN knows this is coming. This means that the first wave of Mutalisks coming in, because Spore Crawlers are already morphing in all over the map right now for SHIN, it's probably not going to get too much damage done. But I'm looking at the minimap, and there are a lot of Overlords that are still vulnerable here to Mutas. 4 or 5 of them might get picked off in total. And Lambo could play a pretty good control game behind this, I think.
Yeah, he's going to have map control for a very long time here, which will allow him to take his fourth base. He can basically safely go up to 80 drones if he wants to, get that 7th and 8th gas. And behind this, we see SHIN's response is going to be the kind of standard go into Infestors, get the Queens, get the Spores, add in the Hydras eventually, and kind of play from there. But right now, it's all about Lambo with this map control, picking off these Lings, picking off Overlords. I feel like he must be very happy with his position here as we see him 6 workers ahead as well as a base.
Yeah, and where does Lambo want to go with this sort of advantage? You know, SHIN, he's buttoned up on 3 bases right now. Lambo actually going to try and take out the Spore Crawler so we can get some damage done. Oh no, the Spore's still alive though. It's able to take down at least one of these Mutas. A bit of a misstep there by Lambo, but in the end, I don't think it's going to be too impactful. The Muta's now trading out for Queens. 3 or 4 Queens falling for SHIN in total. It's just the Spore Crawlers now for anti-air here for SHIN.
Yeah, Lambo not going to let SHIN get up to these Infestors. Just pulls the trigger, getting a lot of damage. 7 workers go down. There's not enough Lings here for SHIN. He's making 26 right now. The Spore Crawler's uprooted and will go down without dealing any damage. SHIN in a lot of trouble right now. The drone's forced to run away from these Banes as well.
Oh, things are spiraling out of control here for SHIN. I thought Lambo might be playing a control game, but he just moves in for the kill, able to snipe down the Spore Crawlers, snipe down the Queens, and SHIN is falling apart at the seams. Down 8 drones already. Almost another Queen going down to the Mutas. The Lings will finally clean that up.
Yeah, and SHIN's actually supply blocked for a big moment there as the Overlords go down. He couldn't make anything. More falling here. Things just getting out of control. And GG. Lambo takes the series 3-1 over SHIN.
Man, that was an excellently played series by Lambo. I was kind of gearing up for more of a long ZVZ there in that game number 4 because SHIN, he got the early scout on the Spire. He was able to throw down the Spores very proactively. But Lambo just smelling blood in the water. He moves in with the Lings, Banelings, and Mutas in a maneuver they don't really see, and he tries to just hold the junction between the natural expansion and the third base. So there's no more reinforcements coming in there for SHIN. And Lambo made sure that SHIN couldn't even kick him out of that position by sniping all of those Queens too. And so Lambo is able to isolate the base on the left side from all of the rest of the production there for SHIN. Proves to be a little bit too much. Lambo taking the series 3-1. And his ZVZ's looking really good.
He's looking in great shape, and his next series will also be a ZVZ. So that is good news for him. I'm just thinking back to that game where the 2 Baners blew up 5. Bit of a disaster there for SHIN with his initial pressure, but Lambo will move on to tomorrow where he will play the winner of our next series of the day, which is going to be Solar and Rogue. And then after that, we have Hero and Clem as well to round things out for today.
A very impressive run for Lambo so far, already securing a top 4 finish here in RSL Season 5 and looking for a little bit more. And honestly, if he continues to play ZVZ like this, if I'm Solar or Rogue right now, I'm not feeling good about it because not only is that upcoming match going to be tough for both of these Zergs, but Lambo just looking to be in top form right now.
Yeah, it will be tough. Guys, check out the YouTube at ReviveFC2 over on YouTube, and also Hype the Video. If you're on a mobile device, you can find one of our VODs that has been up for 7 days or less, I believe. And you can hype the video, which helps spread it through the algorithm on YouTube, get it out to more people who haven't heard of the RSL yet, help spread the word, and yeah, just keep growing this thing.
Yeah, it's hard to have a new YouTube channel in 2026 for StarCraft 2, but boy, we're trying.
We're doing our best, man.
Anyway, we are going to take a short break. When we come back, the RSL playoffs will continue. I don't think Rogue would have gone for that move with the Roaches unless he was confident in the defensive setup back at home. And part of Rogue going for the backdoor expansion is him getting the flexibility to make maneuvers like that, even though he didn't really get any damage done with it. You know, the wall on it, the natural expansion that he has with the evolution chambers, with the Queens there, blocking the gap, it makes things very nice and safe here for Rogue, who is really filling out his tech tree. He's getting 1-1 upgrades right now with Melee and Carapace. Infestation Pit also started. As I think Rogue is probably angling to go into Ultralisks on this one, and if he's able to get up a stable 4th base economy, which I think just requires a couple more drones here at the 4th base, he's going to be in a really good position to go up into Hive and potentially Ultras, but Bunny's going to try and stop him here in the mid game. There is no 3rd command center yet, right?
Yeah, I believe there hasn't been one made just yet, as he's really powering right now on these barracks that he's got set up currently. He's not even got add-ons on some of them, so yeah, he's really trying to get as much production out as fast as possible. So you do try to skip those extra reactors just to get a few extra Marines here and there. And now the push is going to get set up in this little position between the 2 bases. It's going to be nice for those tanks, but there is still a flanking potential as those roaches will start to hit the backside onto those tanks, so we'll be able to kill those off, but the Marines will be able to launch on forward. Tries to come on back to save the tanks, but unable to do so. Still a lot of Marines in this, so it's still going to be a tricky defense overall, as the Roaches and the Queens will start to fall.
Yeah, Marine count thinning out, but there aren't very many Roaches here left for Rogue. Another stim going to come through. 2 more medevacs are also reinforcing. That's going to provide a lot more healing, but I think the Marine count is just high enough to keep these Roaches back. It's really a tug of war right now, with Rogue continuing to rally forces. 1-1 about to complete, as well as Zergling speed here for Rogue. That should give him a lot more flexibility, a lot more staying power versus the +1 infantry weapons of these Marines. I think Rogue might barely be hanging on, but it'll be hard to push Bunny out of this position.
Yeah, 1 tank still is there. There's going to be a few more units coming across as well. 3 tanks in total are on the map, so once those join up, well, actually there's 1 already right there as well, so once we get all 3 together, though, it's still going to be a little bit more tricky. Couple bios getting thrown down on that first forward tank. We'll be able to kill that, as well as a medevac. That's actually really nice. That one does get killed off as well. As much as much healing as possible is going to make this much better for Bunny, but for now, Rogue will be able to dislodge this position and force Bunny back home. Again, no 3rd command center. He's very committed with this.
Yeah, Bunny just continuing to parade push across the map, rallying more units here into the center. Will likely be trying to push back the creep of Rogue and work towards that junction between the natural expansion and the 4th base once more, but not before going for a drop. Now, Rogue, he's prepared for this. He has 3 Spore Crawlers, one of them currently morphing in, and Bunny might send it anyway. He drops 1 Marine, a sacrifice to the Roaches here.
Dude, would hate to be that guy.
Yeah, that's unlucky.
Gets pushed out the medevac by his friends. Like, yo, guys, please, no. It's like, we can see it from up here. You don't need to send me down.
You gotta test defenses. The Roaches could be hallucinations, so 1 Marine draws a short straw. And now Bunny, he's regrouping all the forces here in the center, and you really have to go with 1 more push. There might even be an SCV pull, or at least a small one here for Bunny if he has to commit with this, because I don't think you can easily transition out of a 2-base timing attack like this one with no 3rd command center, with no 2nd engineering bay or armory. It's really all coming down to this, but Rogue, he has a very good idea of what's happening.
Yeah, another location getting sieged here from Bunny. Nice positions from the tank. Going to make it very difficult for Rogue to actually get a flank over onto those. As the Marines start to move on forward, trying to get on top of these Roaches. Rogue not really realizing just yet. We'll be able to throw some bios and then disengage for now, trying to get more reinforcements, trying to split up this position. You can see how difficult it is for him to actually engage. This is a well thought out position from Bunny. That choke point on the right-hand side is really difficult to attack into with the tanks as well. A single Ravager on the left-hand side, but now some more bios getting thrown down onto that tank line. We'll be able to kill quite a few of them, but there's still so many Marines here.
Oh, it might be just enough for Bunny. The Ravagers, once they connect with the Marines, they start to melt, and so Rogue is going to be pulling the drones to have some sort of front line right now. More bios going to connect.
Yeah, that bio was actually huge because also a tank shot, I think, got off onto those Marines. So really losing quite a few of those. And now it's going to allow Rogue to make a defense with that drone pull. Losing 14 drones is not really great, but if he can still just make this defense happen, then it's still okay for him. Because again, Bunny is so committed right now. He's still only on 2 bases, going full all in with his attack.
Yeah, drones transferring now from the main base and the natural expansion, which have started to mine out. So Rogue, he will be able to resaturate the 4th expansion. Bunny going to try and pressure the hatchery down here in the bottom right. And Rogue, for now, it seems like he is able to push Bunny back from this position, and Bunny recognizes it is time to transition. He's starting in command center back at home, but I don't think that's going to mean that the pressure will stop. We still don't have a 2nd engineering bay. We still don't have an armory. This is still Bunny with a... Welcome back, everyone, to the RSL playoffs. We're continuing on here in the penultimate day with the 2nd lower bracket quarterfinal. It's going to be another ZBZ, Solar versus Rogue. And Rogue just booked his ticket to the top 4 in the GSL. He's looking to be in very good form. This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we just had a very quick ZVZ in the last one there. It was very, very short. Every game felt like it lasted only like 10 minutes at most. It was extremely quick. So we'll see if this one matches the same pace or not. Solar overall has been doing pretty good against Rogue ever since he came back from the military. There's a moment in time there for a couple series where Rogue was really just beating Solar non-stop, basically, but now Solar has basically swung it back, and almost every single time lately that they've played, he has been the victor, except for like one best-of-1 or whatever.
By the way, I'm just noticing, because we have an eearlier start time for RSL today, there's sunlight in these gamers' rooms. Can you see this?
Oh my god.
Oh, that's so nice.
They're getting tans while playing the game, dude. Multitasking over here. It's crazy.
All right, folks. Map number 1 loading in between Solar and a Rogue, with the Rogue, the blue Zerg, spawning in the bottom right of Ruby Rock. Solar, the red Zerg, in the top left. And now, when I think back to Solar's peak in ZVZ, where there was a stretch where he beat basically everybody, it was on the back of very aggressive builds. And I feel like since then, things have kind of quieted down a little in Zerg versus Zerg. I'm not sure if it's just, as players get better, they get better at defending aggressive builds more than pretty much anything else. It's one of the reasons why, if you have one patch that sticks around for a very long time, eventually games kind of start to look the same, more or less, with just small deviations. But I do wonder, after Lambo played such an aggressive and successful set number 1 versus SHIN in the earlier lower bracket, if we're going to get a little bit of the same taste here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised. I mean, both these players have already shown aggression throughout multiple different matchups that we've seen. I mean, Solar was able to do that in ZVP very heavily. I mean, Rogue brings out lots of proxy hatches in ZVT even as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if both players also bring out some aggression in this matchup particularly. And I also just find that to be the most interesting and exciting form of ZVZ. I love it when it's the early Ling versus Bane micro wars, when they get into the mutas as well. It just gets very interesting. So I would love to see it for sure. And I feel like these two players are definitely some players that could do that as well.
Yeah, I always get a little bit nostalgic when I see early Ling Bane timing attacks in Zerg versus Zerg, because it just reminds me of the days in Wings of Liberty where you can kind of Ling Bane everybody in every matchup, whether it be ZVT, ZVP. Back when the six workers start back before the game was really figured out, aggression kind of reigned supreme. It was king. And I think ZVZ is really the only matchup that you kind of get a taste of that in the early game, right? So we'll see if Solar or Rogue are going to opt for something with Ling Baneling over the course of this series. So far here in game number 1, nearly identical builds between the two of them.
Yeah, we get the ZVZ Classic of just a couple of hatcheries, a couple of queens, and a couple of Zerglings all coming out basically at the same times. The real deviation, of course, comes when the third base starts to get taken as well, of course. Where does that gas start to get thrown? And for now, it looks like Rogue is not opting to go for that fast Ling speed, whereas Solar, of course, going for that, and then the fast third base. Rogue is going to be banking that up a little bit, gets a macro hatchery in his natural, and then I'm assuming a lair. Yes, there we go. There's the lair coming out. Very interesting coming out from Rogue.
So Rogue did this build in the GSL. I can't remember if it was this week or last week. There's just been so much StarCraft 2 happening. Rogue delivered this build in the GSL, and it led to if I recall correctly, a 2-base lair roach timing attack, kind of similar to what we saw earlier on when Lambo went for the lair before Zergling's speed versus SHIN. And the hatchery, it's an excellent structure at just blocking this area here, the natural expansion, but it also is a bit of a red herring, Solar might see this, and if he isn't familiar with the games that Rogue played earlier on, might think that, oh, okay, well, Rogue, you're not taking a third base very quickly, but you clearly need a lot of larva, so this is going to be something larva-intensive coming in from Rogue. But if Rogue decides to play the same way, that is not, in fact, going to be the case.
Yeah, it's a very cool build coming out from Rogue. This is the type of stuff that we're kind of used to seeing with Rogue, where he's always going to be throwing out these really interesting takes on certain strategies and always comes up with new, fresh ideas. I feel like Rogue is someone that more than anyone likes to experiment with these macro hatches in multiple different matchups as well. I feel like I don't ever see many players do that more than he does. So I'm always curious the thought process behind it when it comes from him. So we'll see how well this ends up working. Of course, all the gas is coming in really quickly now as well, just to make sure you can get all of that income, since you kind of used it so much earlier on the lair and whatnot. So you need to kickstart that a bit more as the roach speed does start to come in as well. So Solar's just going to be trying to keep Lings at the front here. Of course, there's nothing to keep those away. He needs to get a good read on what exactly is going on, and it's actually going to be a fake out. Oh, I love this.
Yeah, this is smart because, you know, as Rogue, if you do this build once in the GSL and then you build the exact same kind of skeleton of the build in another tournament soon after that, well, then Solar's going to scout it and be like, oh, okay, well, I've already seen this before. I have a pretty good idea of what to expect. And so Rogue is going for effectively the same opening, even down to the Roach Warren at the natural, starting Roach speed the moment that the lair is done. But this time, he's throwing in a little bit of a mix. He's going for the Spire relatively quickly here.
Oh my god.
Solar trying to sneak a couple of Lings past. Actually, it turns into a bit of a logjam. Those Lings then cannot escape. A pretty favorable trade here for Rogue. And the first Roaches are going to pop out. They should be able to push this away. But I think the Spire behind this will be very unexpected for Solar.
Yeah, I don't think he's reading into that at all right now. You saw the Overlord in the main base trying to go in as well. Gets a read that there's still Zergling speed being researched as well. So you got Roach speed, you got Zergling speed. You see a lot of units coming out from this 2-base setup. Right now, nothing on the production tab suggests that Solar realizes that this is just a fake. There's actually Mutas coming behind it. This initial attack is also kind of threatening, though, as it seems like Solar didn't even really anticipate this many units coming out. He's going to suddenly lose a Queen and a couple drones as well. He will, of course, make this defense because there's nothing extra coming from it just yet from Rogue, but I'm actually surprised that Solar even lost that much to just that attack.
Well, it was a committed attack there by Rogue, even though he does have the transition already planned with the Spire. You know, naturally, if you're playing on 2 bases, you're going to be cutting workers right around 44 because that is full 2-base saturation. So every resource after that, besides what has been, you know, earmarked for the Mutalisk and for Mutalisk attack upgrades, it's been going into nothing but Roaches and Lings. So Rogue able to leverage, you know, a huge influx of cash being spent onto Army and trade that out for Queens, trade that out for a couple of drones. It's a successful greed check here onto Solar. And now that Rogue actually has Mutas on the maps too, Solar's going to have a pretty hard time getting out of his 3 bases.
Yeah, Overlord's already getting killed off by Rogue, and so supply blocked is Solar for now. Another one's going to fall out. He's obviously making a bunch more now to make sure he doesn't keep getting supply blocked over and over again, but he's been supply blocked for a good amount of time so far, so that's going to really limit how much he can get out on the field right now. Spores desperately we're trying to get up as well, as there's only 3 Queens on the map. It's not exactly the craziest amount of Queens, of course, so you want to make sure you have Spores to help deal with that as well. As some Roaches do get caught on the right-hand side, so at least Solar will be able to keep that away and won't get overwhelmed super crazily on the ground as of yet, but it's still the Mutas that are the name of the game right now. How much more can they get done? As actually a Ling run by, I think, got into the main base.
Oh, look at that. A Rogue into the main base here of Solar. Able to pick off, I think, 1 drone and then goes for the Spore Crawler. This is going to complicate the defense here for the Mutas, which are now coming back into the main. Spore, only on 31 HP, will be an easy target for those Mutas as the Lings now work their way into the natural expansion. The drones come back to the main. Spore Crawler trying to siege up there in the main base, but already a lot of drones going down.
Yeah, the Hydrogen is here as well, so if he actually wants to, he could try to focus that down. There's going to be a couple transfuses from those Queens, so it's going to be very difficult to get that. Wisely, we'll just run away for now and try to get some more damage later, maybe pick off a few Hydras or a couple more drones here and there. But yeah, some pretty decent damage there, 6 drones as well. But now Rogue needs to make this counterattack defense work, of course, because there's so many Roaches coming into this 3rd base.
A nice little transfuse on the Hydra, defensively there for Solar, and now the Roach counterattack really coming to fruition on Rogue's side of the map. The Mutas, they are going to get to work on this, but with +1 Carapace, it's going to take a little bit of time for them to actually clean this up, despite the fact that they already have, you know, +1 fire attack here. So 7 drones in total are going to fall. I'm not sure how many drones are actually at the 3rd base right now. It seems like just a couple of them. But we're nearing 8:30. The main base is going to start mining out in just a little bit for both of these players. So Rogue, he doesn't have to replenish quite as many drones as he might if this attack took place, say, like a minute earlier, which is nice for him. But still, Solar getting some good economic damage done.
Yeah, that definitely helps to even out the score here, of course, because Solar was pretty unexpected. Those Mutas, of course, so able to get some counter damage done, but still, the Mutas are not getting killed off whatsoever. There's a massive flock of them now going into the main base, and there's a couple of Spore Crawlers here, but at this count of Mutas, those will get killed off very quickly, and even the Queen's going to get targeted down as well. Now that Hydrogen could be under threat, he's just going to go for the drones first, of course, and then go on to that Hydrogen. We'll be able to deny the upgrades. Groove Spines is going to be canceled as well. It's going to make it even more difficult for these Mutas to be dealt with.
And Rogue is playing an excellent game. It's actually 24 Mutas to 14 Hydras right now. All the Hydras that you saw in the main base of Solar, that's basically all that he has got. And so with the Hydra Den down now and the Mutas at a count where they can 2-shot Spore Crawlers, This is a very dangerous position for Solar to be in. If Rogue can somehow get a surround on those Hydras with the +1 Lings that he's got, or work those Lings into the main bases, looks like he's trying to go for right now. Oh, this could be a disaster. And the Hydra Den, it might get sniped again, Gemini.
Oh my god, another one getting killed off. The Transfuse keeps it alive for just a little bit longer. He gets a single Hydralisk out. The Lair also getting targeted down by the Zerglings as the Mutas go over to the third base. Solar doesn't have any way to defend these multiple attacks.
Oh, and Fester pops immediately, gets sniped by the Mutas. The third hatch is going to go down. The Lair is very low on HP as well. The Hydralisk Den still has not yet been remade. So Solar has to defend this Lair, at least until the Hydra Den gets up, but the income is so disrupted here for Solar. He's on 2 bases versus Rogue, who, yes, Rogue might only be on 3 bases in total, but, I mean, the economic damage is huge.
Yeah, now he's going into a massive Baneling switch behind this as well with the centrifugal hooks coming on in. So Rogue wants to end this game very soon. He's going to come on in with just a massive amount of units, just try and bulldoze this down, as of course the Hydras and the Infestors should not be able to deal well with that huge Baneling count. And I think Rogue is going to be finding a very nice victory in this one. This has been all Rogue this entire game. He's dictated the pace, and he's going to finish it.
Solar only just now starting the Hydralisk Den up for the 3rd time in this game. You know, for Solar, you just have a prayer right now of being able to come back in this one. You need a money fungal on all these Mutas, and even then you need to use the groove spines of the Hydras to take the fight, because if the Hydras get too close to the Mutas, I mean, they have no chance in hell. This Muta count is through the roof right now. They're going to work their way back to the third base. Those Hydras, it's almost like Solar is bluffing with the Hydras, trying to make Rogue back off, because if Rogue actually decides to go down on that position, every single Hydra is going to fall. I mean, what is the Muta count right now? It feels like we have 30+ Mutas. It's insane.
It's very large right now.
28 Mutalisks.
Nice fungal on the Banelings trying to save the economy, but they will still roll on through anyway, so a couple of those drones do need to run away. The pressure is just relentless right now from Rogue. Solar is really just going all over the place, trying to defend all these different locations. And of course, that's just waiting for the big actual push that's going to be coming soon enough eventually. The Baneling count is just getting so high that Rogue wants to use all these. He's just kind of waiting until Solar gets into the best position for him to just unleash this massive amount of Banelings. He might not even wait for that. He's just going to go right on in with all these himself.
Oh, good fungal on the Banelings, though. Now the Hydra's trying to split on the high ground. Only a couple of Hydras falling, but the drones in the natural. 11 being taken down. It's still a good win for Rogue, trading out those Banelings for 11 drones and 4 Hydras, but that could have been so much more. Clutch fungal coming in by Solar. Now Solar's going for a counterattack. This might be his Hail Mary. This might be the last chance that Solar has to try to clean this up. Oh, look at this.
Oh
Baneling landmines versus
God.
Hydras and Infestors. There's
When do
no
you
overseer
expect
with
it?
the army.
Oh my God. It's insane. Every single unit on that ramp annihilated, and Rogue takes the first game.
Dude, Artosis was right. Rogue is the greatest player of all time. This is...
Don't feed his ego, man. Relax. Pump
Oh
the
my
brakes.
God. Rogue is fun to watch. He is such an innovator. He has such a creative play style. That was his only game number 1. But what an awesome game number 1 it was. I mean, going for basically the same build that he deployed in a GSL, but having the nice little twist of going into Mutas behind it instead of committing to a Roach all-in. And then everything after that. I mean, the Baneling sledding into the main base of the natural, the Baneling landmines, the Mutas going up to nearly 30+, being able to 2-shot Spores, 1-shot Queens. Oh, that was a beautiful game by Rogue.
It was great. I mean, it's such a classic Rogue game, dude. Like, you look at that game and you're like, no, this is... Maybe this is Solar, maybe this is, you know, whoever. No, that looked like it was just straight up Rogue, man. Like, no one plays the game like that, especially with the macro hatch build order, like you're saying as well. Like, it just looks vintage Rogue, and the way he plays is just so entertaining. It's so great to see him back at such high form in these last couple of months, and from last tournament, from this one as well. It's such a treat to be able to watch him play this type of style that we haven't really seen too much lately in StarCraft 2.
Nobody plays like Rogue. You know, he utilizes everything in the Zerg arsenal. We see him deploy Baneling landmines and burrow more than basically
ZVZ,
every other
insane.
Zerg combined. Yeah, when's the last time you saw
Never.
Baneling landmines in ZVZ?
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Unheard of. Oh, but look at this. Solar in game number 2 going for a 12 pool versus Rogue.
Oh boy. How aggressive is this actually going to be? Are we going to just gonna just get the Lings, or are we going to actually get a Ling drone pull as well with the spine crawlers and everything like that. Of course, something that does get rotated into ZVZ pretty often. I feel like you see it maybe like, you know, once a series or so. You get one of the players trying to go for the crazy Ling drone pull all in. So we'll see which one he wants to go for, how aggressive he wants to be. But yeah, Rogue is going to have to be on his best to be able to find this out and defend in time.
One early drone moving out, I think, might be to throw down a spine crawler. Just barely out of the vision of Rogue's main hatchery. And Rogue's going for a fast expand behind this. No spawning pool for Rogue just yet, as the Lings are beginning here for Solar. And Celestial Enclave, it is the most macro-oriented map that we have in the pool in RSL. It's a very defensive-oriented map, and so it's an intelligent choice by Solar to try and go with the most aggressive build on a map where you really do not expect to see it as Rogue. And also you have to consider that it's a long distance from the main base between these two. Those Lings have a long way to go. So Solar, he's not putting all of his eggs in one basket. He is expanding behind this. But let's see what he can get done. If he can cancel the hatchery of Rogue on the low ground, that would be huge.
Yeah, he would, of course, love to do that. And I feel like just because there's just no Lings coming out, it's going to be a very long time, of course. That is definitely a real possibility. The drone here could still be used for a spine crawler. It looks like he might be trying to do that, of course, with the hatchery finishing. It'll give that creep, and you can just throw that down right next to it, so it's very good. So the Lings get to work on that hatchery. A drone pull is forced out of Rogue to be able to defend this. If he loses this hatchery, everything is going to go terribly for him. He needs to keep this alive.
Yeah, drones drilling through the minerals right now, trying to find the surround on the Lings. They do get it already. 5 drones have fallen, though. Lings now hatching for Rogue. They have to decide, are they going to go for the Lings here of Solar or go to work on that spine crawler? It seems like Rogue has enough to hold on. That spine crawler going to get canceled. That drone will be picked off. And when the dust settles, Solar's expansion not yet done. 13 drones for Solar to 12 for Rogue, but Rogue does have slightly more Zerglings.
This is interesting. It kind of evened out in that way, of course, because you go for the early pool, you stack so many drones to be able to do that, but then the other player has to literally sacrifice their drones to be able to actually defend, and then you both end up just on 2 bases with basically the same worker counts and a couple queens and maybe a couple extra Lings. So we'll see if Rogue can actually get this swing going. If he could get that queen, that would be very good for him, and he will be able to do so, even all the Lings. So now this is swinging back onto Solar's side, probably more than he was expecting. And the queen could also fall as well, because there's no more Lings right here.
Yeah, Solar knows it too. He has to pull the drones to try and save this queen. The Lings going for this round don't have quite enough damage to take out that queen. But already a nice start here for Rogue, able to defend at the 12 pool safely back at home, losing just a handful of drones. And one of the main advantages that Solar had after that 12 pool was the faster queen count. I think they must have just sniped an Overlord.
Yeah, he's supply blocked. Yeah, so losing this Overlord as well after losing that drone, the extra couple Lings, and the Queen as well, this is definitely swung back to Rogue's favor. I mean, he's up now 29 to 22 workers after all of this, with that supply block helping as well. So things are definitely going more into Rogue's favor. More Lings just seesawing back over here as well. So, okay, well, I guess this ride is not quite over yet. Let's just see how many drones these Zerglings can kill as well, because now there's no Zerglings out for Rogue.
I think the Zergling count, it's low enough that drone drilling should be fine here for Rogue. He might lose 2 or 3, though. The 2 do fall. Nice trade out for Solar. Also scouts the 3rd hatchery coming in here for our blue Zerg player Rogue. But back and forth here in the early game between these two.
Yeah, what a strange looking game so far. It looks like there's only 1 gas for each player as well, and it looks like the 100 gas is going to be going straight into speed for Rogue. I do like that. I don't think this is a situation where you want to be going into your fast lair shenanigans, of course. Solar is just a little bit behind on that gas income. We'll get that eventually. So Rogue will be up in that regard as well. So not only is his 3rd base faster, not only has his drone production been accelerated, he's also going to have faster tech coming out. It seems like Rogue has kind of gone away ahead overall in this strange early game.
Yeah, if you look at the stat line at the bottom of the screen, it does still look very close, but I agree. It feels like the main thing is that tempo is on Rogue's side. He's just a little bit faster about everything. He was faster to get to this drone count. He's faster to tech up. He's faster to get Ling speed. And part of the Ling speed thing, I think, is just Solar just opting to go for probably a Roach start here. The way the early game is when you could see even going for the lair before Ling speed. As we've seen a couple of times over the course of today already in these ZBZs. But I like the position of Rogue a little bit better than that Solar has.
Yeah, we'll see how he's going to be able to deal with this. Of course, another Overlord could actually get sniped off, as there's still some vision here as well. So that would be really annoying for Solar, of course, but he's got a couple more coming out, so it's still going to be totally fine. Fourth base coming out very quickly here as well for Rogue, kind of realizing the position he's in, knows that he's got a pretty good read on the situation. He's going to have map control as well with this faster speed. Will also force Solar to have to respond to this a number of Zerglings. So he will have to wall off for just a little bit, but not really able to do too much there. So yes, Rogue is just continuing to kind of keep the tempo in his favor as much as possible, as he does also get into the Roach Warren, the Roach speed. Gets the +1 a little bit later, but the Roach speed timings are basically identical.
And I like this small squadron of Zerglings just kind of garrisoned outside of Solar's natural expansion, because the pocket base that you have on Celestial Enclave, it only has one Vespene Geyser. It has, I think, 5 mineral patches, so there's considerably less income gathered from this base than, say, the main, the natural, or the expansion the Rogues are now taking at the 6 o'clock base. So Solar, he wants to eventually saturate all of this and then more, and the Lings from Rogue are preventing Solar from throwing down the hatchery until he has enough forces to actually get out and secure everything. And so it's a little bit of a soft contain that Rogue is doing right now with these Zerglings, just having them, you know, deployed in the center of the map. And this means that in a couple of minutes, the economy for Rogue, once this 4th hatchery gets online, it's going to be so much better than Solar's that if we just play a pure Roach versus Roach style, I think Rogue is just going to have way more.
Quite possibly. I did see a Hydroden in the production tab for Solar, and then I feel like it got canceled. I'm not... Yeah, is that what Mapu's pointing out right now? Yeah. I feel like he was kind of waiting to see if there was maybe like a Spire being made, because he had a Changeling going across the map. Maybe he was kind of anticipating that kind of play again. Maybe I'm wrong, but it felt like he was kind of searching for that information. Goes for the cancel instead. Looks like some Lings are going to try to just kill off these rocks, of course, get a couple more avenues for counterattacks and whatnot, as the Roaches do start to get massed out, and actually Tunneling Claws also coming out from Rogue, so might be trying to do some Burrow Roach shenanigans, doing some harassment, sending some Roaches into the mineral line, something that definitely does come out in ZVZ every now and then.
Yeah, Rogue is a big fan of this approach, and at 69 drones right now here for Rogue, I'm expecting to see basically nothing more than Roaches. He will get a couple more drones out, but I think this is mostly him just replenishing the drones that he will lose, throwing down structures like these extractors, like these spore crawlers. It's likely to be a lot of Roaches for both players, and Rogue even going for drops. So these Roaches, they can drop into the pocket expansion of Solar. Those Roaches can then burrow and find avenues into basically any other base of the opposing Zerg. If I'm not mistaken, Solar does not have Tunneling Claws, right? He's going for the same technique of trying to drop Roaches on the opponent's side of the map, but yeah, no Tunneling Claws for Solar, so we're with a little bit more harassment opportunity with these drops.
Yeah, we'll see what happens now, as of course the first Overlord is getting in position to be able to drop these Roaches. The rest of the army is not really in position to capitalize on this. He's just using it for the initial harass, of course, and then we'll be doing some stuff later, it seems like, as the first 4 Roaches will find their way into this 3rd base and start to focus down some of these drones. Not so much really getting done as of yet. Of course, the amount of Overlords also just on the map make it very clear from both players' perspectives that there's no big attack happening right now. They basically have full vision of the entire map at the moment, which is kind of ridiculous. That's what happens, of course, when there's no mutas, but also apparently that Overlord just walks right into a Spore Crawler, so that's a bit unfortunate, and that's going to get killed off, and that's going to, again, give Rogue the slight upper hand when it comes to the harassment as well.
Yeah, Solar is now going into Tunneling Claws and Burrow. It's a little bit later here than Rogue, so those Roaches not able to survive in the main base of Rogue for now, as I think an Overlord got picked up, perhaps the one in front of the 4th base here for Solar. So Rogue with a slight supply of luck, actually making 7 more Overlords just to make sure, even if he loses a couple more in the future, he's still going to be at max supply. And I kind of thought this was building up towards what would be like a Roach Max versus a Roach Max, with both players moving across the map and just battling it out. But we actually have a Hive and a Lurker Den started here for Rogue. So he's going to try and play a bit more of a late game.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how the strategy openings, which what looked like was going to be the shortest game of the day, ends up now perhaps being the longest game that we have yet. Both players looking like they're going to be hunkering down for just a little bit as the Infestation pick comes down for Solar as well. Lurker is going to be coming out much faster for Rogue, so again, he's going to be dictating the pace, and just overall seems like he's had the tempo advantage going into this game and into this late game now as well, of course. So those Lurkers definitely have a chance to really swing the tide once they do actually hit the field. As for now, it's just going to be Lings continuing to harass on these exterior bases, just trying to make sure that Solar is pinned down to as little bases as possible, while Rogue is the one that's able to freely expand.
Yeah, Rogue just being annoying with these Lings too, burrowing them prompting Solar to warp in. Overseer right after that. Now Solar's been moving across the map. Solar, I feel like he has to get something done with this. The Hive is already finished here for Rogue, and Solar's only just now has begun. 7 lurkers are morphing in for the blue Zerg player. And Rogue is, or Solar, excuse me, is maxed with just roaches. You need to trade these out, and the window to trade them out cost effectively is, in my opinion, closing, with lurkers getting closer and closer to completion. Of course, they don't yet have their Hive Tech upgrades. But all right, Solar coming in. Are those lurkers actually on hold position? And this is a complete fake out, by the way. These Overlords completely empty.
Oh my god, and Solar is taking the bait. Look at his army. It's running back home. He thinks that this is a huge attack getting thrown into his third base, but he's completely getting baited out. All of the lurker upgrades are now, finishing very soon as well. The lurkers have finished as well. And so this is getting completely, Solar's just getting completely run around the map at this point. There's a couple Burrowed Roaches trying to find their way onto the right-hand side from Solar, but yeah, that's not really going to do anything. Yeah, Solar absolutely took that bait, and now there's no attack coming from him.
Rogue able to buy a lot of time with that maneuver. Seismic Spines will complete now for Rogue, so the window for Solar to try and get damage done, or at least meaningful damage with the Roach Ravager max out that he's got, it's largely closed. Now, eventually these units, they will be traded out, but they won't be trying to ransack the 4th or the 5th base of Rogue. They won't be trying to tunnel into either the main base or the pocket expansion. Instead, it's Solar, who is still behind on drones, still a tempo behind on tech, trying to catch up to a Rogue who is really fleshing out the entire tech tree.
This has got to be one of the most passive ZVZs I've ever seen, man. like
After a 12 pull,
nothing has happened. Like they just keep sitting back. They're doing these fake attacks. They're attacking with 4 roaches here and there. It's like, I don't know, nothing. They're not doing anything. It's crazy. They're just maxing out. They've been sitting on max army supply as well for like so long. It's like no one wants to be the one to initiate at this point. They're just kind of waiting it out, just assuming the other player's going to attack maybe, and then, try to bait them into the lurkers and now into the Vipers as well, of course. This one is really one of the most passive ZVZ I feel like I've seen in a very long time.
I think in a situation where both players go into lurkers like this, it's very expensive to try and actually break on the other side of the map, because, I mean, lurkers just inherently, the way the unit is designed, the way the unit works, it is one of the best defending units in StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
And so to actually try to breach a position or be aggressive into lurkers, you need so many spellcasters, you need Vipers, you need excellent army movement. And these are all things which, when you're trying to completely flesh out your tech tree the way that, say, for instance, Rogue is doing right now, going into +3 range weapons, going to +3 Carapace, getting basically every upgrade, getting a Nidus now in the Solar's main base, which has been spotted, I think. Overseers are maneuvering over here. Will it be taken out, though? Roaches and Hydras are coming in. Yes, it seems like it should be. To go back to the point I was making earlier, it's just so expensive to try and break somebody who is defending with lurkers that I think it's going to naturally take a long time for them to actually have meaningful interactions in the middle of the map.
Yeah, I mean, even Rogue with 24 Spore Crawlers on the map is ridiculous, of course. So that's going to help out versus the, I guess, I don't know, like the Viper fights and stuff like that. And I'm not too knowledgeable about the late game ZVZ. I'm going to be honest with you, State. I do not see this very often. What is going on with his Ravager?
Rogue's making 12 more Overlords. He's already at 200 out of 200. What? What are these Overlords going to do?
Is he going to do another fake drop? He's going to
one-up Did
Rogue?
all of those Overlords die? I mean, 4 of them are still alive.
Oh,
I know
it's the mass Overseer stuff, dude. They're going to, like, drop a million changelings.
Is he going to make 20 more? Like, it's so many more Overlords. I mean, maybe he will make 20 more Overseers, but this is not the PTR. Those changelings, they do not have contagious fatalities. And look at that. It will be 12 more Overseers. Oh, my goodness.
Dude, what the heck?
Well, hey, this might be going away in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
You better get your bang for your buck now here as Rogue.
Yeah, it's going to be much more difficult right now to kill all those changelings. And both players looking like they might accidentally finally engage each other in the middle of the map here. Solar does not want to go with that, of course, and we'll just back on up as Nidus does find their way onto the left-hand side. So a couple lurkers will try to harass these exterior bases, exterior mineral lines, make it as difficult as possible as the Nidus continue to go up into the main base as well. It doesn't look like Solar is quite aware that that one's happening yet, as Rogue is trying to pull its attention at the front. So there is a chance here that this main base Nidus Swarm can actually get some good damage.
Yeah, Solar now is going to realize when he actually hears this get popped in the main base, but how many units are here for Rogue? The Nidus Network is done, but nothing has actually come out.
It's just chilling there.
Okay, I'm looking at the minimap. It seems like he's now starting to populate this. Okay, there's
one lurker.
One lurker. I mean, it's filling up. Okay, now the lurkers are coming in. This could be huge. If the hive falls here for Solar, he is back in the Stone Age. He cannot make any more Vipers. And I don't know if the Lurker Den or the Hydros Den are in the main base too, but if those production buildings go down, and the Infestation Pit is here, oh, this is a huge move by Rogue. How do you actually breach this? In a game that was so quiet, Rogue finally gets the Nidus Network set up in the main base, and now things are falling apart. For Solar, the Vipers are coming in, they're able to abduct the majority of the Lurkers, but still, 6 Lurkers at the top of this ramp. You cannot breach this position.
Yeah, he's got to get some more energy, of course, on those Vipers. He is drastically trying to soak some of those up. Will be able to pull some of them in now and kill them off, kill off the Nidus Storm as well. But a forward base was also killed off during all of that. Rogue also now getting this left-hand base too, so still the tempo in Rogue's favor overall. That attack was definitely very good for him. Solar's also only on 52 drones though, which does mean that this army supply from Solar is absolutely ridiculous.
Solar does have a huge army. Moving forward with Lurkers, able to snipe down a hatchery and a ton of Ravagers.
Deleted.
Something nice about to pop here. Solar, no doubt, sees this with the Vipers hanging overhead. But again, the Viper count, it's such a number that the burrowed Lurkers in the main base, they're not too much of a threat anymore because the abducts are just so plentiful for both players. It's 8 Vipers here for Rogue. It is 6 Vipers for Solar. And so a lot of these skirmishes now coming forward, they're going to be hinging on the spell casting from both players. Like Rogue, with the Viper count that he's got, he might be able to isolate these Lurkers on the left side and just pick all of them off. In fact, I think that's what he's going for right now.
Yeah, that is a great swing right there. Just trying to run away as fast as they can and just keep getting pulled back in.
You know, like those little rubber hands that you would get out of like the toy machines as kids in the 90s? I feel like Rogue's just slapping down those hands, grabbing all these Lurkers, pulling them back. I mean, it is outrageous the amount.
Yeah, that was really silly looking. Late game ZVZ with the Lurker Viper interactions, man, I swear to God, it's some of the funniest stuff you can actually see. It's the greatest when the Vipers start yoinking each other and they just swap places midair and just go flying all over the place. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, physics just thrown to the wind.
Yeah. It just makes no sense whatsoever. They just like form a black holes. They just keep circling around each other, yoinking each other.
All right, well, here we go. The Vipers are getting abducted. Lightning Cloud's also coming in. Parasitic Bomb going to be doing some damage onto these Vipers, but I think really the abduct is the threat, although I say that and the Vipers still have not been split. They're all so deep in the red. Yeah, Rogue with a little bit of a delayed reaction to that maneuver, and this Hive has been consistently chiseled away at. I'm not sure where the HP of this Hive is at, but it looks to be bleeding quite a bit.
Yeah, hopefully could get that, but some Hydras do finally find their way up. And we'll be able to kill that off, but that just means that the middle of the map is open for Rogue to continue this push. He's got so many Lurkers. I think his Lurker count is quite substantial compared to his opponents as well. It was a little bit better earlier. I guess he just did lose those in the main base. So 17 to 12, still a good lead there, of course, but 13 Vipers also coming out from Rogue will continue to allow himself to get as many yoinks as possible, throw down as many blinding clouds as well to limit the Lurkers of the opponent. And it looks like Rogue is just trying to set himself up for yet another push throughout the middle.
Another Nidus popping in the main base here of Solar. We'll see if it actually gets to finish up, as I think with this Nidus, Solar should be able to dispatch the expansion on the right side. Rogue doing basically the same thing over here on the left with one stray. A Lurker trying to work away at this hatchery. And it's quieted down a little bit, partly because both players need to recharge. Oh no, this Nidus actually never got spotted. That Hide's going to go down, Gemini. It is so low on HP right now, 500 hit points left. There's no way Solar's going to be able to defend that. Oh wait, what? Unless Rogue unburrows! Caster Curse, what was this?
Caster moment!
How do you not finish the Hive?
Oh my God,
How do you not finish the Hive?
That thing was less than 100 HP,
It was one more volley, I'm losing my mind.
Oh my God, I love it. Get owned, State. Get
I usually don't say that
owned.
unless I'm so certain about it. I cannot believe.
He's at 89 HP. Here comes the next Nidus. Quick, Rogue. Rogue. No, he's really dealing with the push at the front. He doesn't realize. Oh my God, it survives. It's still alive. Unbelievable,
I'm
man.
upset now.
Oh, there he goes.
What? It's still gonna. He's an unburrow now.
Hey!
Okay, finally. All right.
It died! Not the caster moment. Oh my god, crazy.
Jeez.
That was awesome, man. Solar's trying to do a big push over to the bottom right-hand side over here. It looks like, of course, the Viper's trying to throw down as many yoinks, and there they go, trying to yoink those Vipers. That one died before the thing connected. That was pretty cool. I've never seen that interaction. As the
Oh, please split your Vipers.
Yeah,
They're
that would
so
be
low in
terrible.
HP. All right, Solar, he's been able to drive a wedge between these two expansions on the bottom right side. Oh, it's looking good. Oh, is the Lair going to get sniped now?
I love how you do it as a question and not
Well, yeah, you never know, Rogue. He might just unburrow and go back into the Nidus. We never know, Gemini.
Oh my god, those overseers got to get the hell out of here. Yeah, the Hydra count is still pretty good here for Solar, and the overall army is still quite large, but I feel like once Rogue gets all of his stuff together, it's going to be very difficult for Solar to actually break on through here. And yeah, Solar's just going to realize it right there. GG is called, and in a 21-minute ridiculous game, Rogue finds the next game. That's 2-0 for Rogue right now, right? Yes.
That game started with a 12 pool, Gemini.
I know, yeah. It's always, dude, it's always the cheesiest openers that lead us to the longest macro games, I swear to God.
Yeah, well, that was a fun ZVZ. That was really up and down on both sides. I don't think I've ever seen that many Dinosaurs in a ZVZ, honestly. They were just popping up absolutely everywhere. And now Rogue up 2-0 in this series over Solar. It is a best of 5, so there are some StarCraft games left to be played. But Lambo waiting in the wings for the victor from this series.
Absolutely. Are we doing a little plug before break or something? Or Ziggy's Blue
You got to
Ball
lock in,
okay, there we
Ziggy.
go. Nice. All right, tasteofstripes.com. Go ahead, check out the merch site. There's going to be tons of stuff over there you can pick up. You can get the RSL stuff. You can get Tasteless and Artosis' faces on your shirt as well.
Photorealistic, by the way.
Photorealistic, extremely well drawn. And other just general gamer merch. If you're a Patreon, you get 20% off as well. So go ahead and check that out for all your gamer swag needs.
Yeah, it's a sick deal. Absolutely go to tastelessthreads.com and see what kind of merch is available. But for now, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, this ZVZ between Rogue and Solar will continue.
Unfortunately, unable to get them through. We'll start to just kind of streamline them in. I can't believe he's actually going to be able to win this round. 23.
I got bad news. Oh, that hatchery goes down. But you know what's not going to go down? The hatchery from earlier.
Yeah, I wonder how much that would have actually even impacted anything, because I feel like Shin's army overall is still very threatening. Huge group of Marines on the right-hand side will be able to kill off that hatchery, but they're not going to have a way to get back home, I feel like, to actually defend this two-base setup, which has no command centers, by the way. They're actually kind of floating all over the place.
Well, there's one on the center right.
Yeah, there's one on the left as well that was floating. It's going to start to reposition as well. So maybe Bunny actually can scrap this out.
He doesn't know. We need a vision check.
Does he realize that those bases are there? No, he does not. Shin, you need to put this together.
Shin, connect the dots.
Oh, no. There's 2 orbitals as well. There's a way Bunny can scrap this out. He's got 61 army supplies still. His upgrade's still very strong. He's able to get an income.
Oh, my God. I can't believe this.
Oh, my goodness.
Did he see it then?
Oh, okay. That's a huge scout coming in from Shin right now.
Shin, go back. I feel like I'm that guy in Interstellar right now behind the bookshelf. Like, no, no, no!
Don't go back home!
Don't go back home!
Stay
right
across
there.
the map!
Oh. Okay, he knows about it.
No, Shin, no!
No!
Shin!
No, Shin!
Shin!
Shin! Check 3 o'clock!
Don't let me go into the black hole, Shin, please!
That hatch is... Oh, okay. It got all the minerals out. That hatch is going to live on.
That's insane. And then he's just gonna kill it himself. That's so crazy.
But there's still Vespian gas. Don't lose it, Don!
Oh my god. Oh yeah, they changed that recently.
Oh yeah. Actually, I forgot about that. I forgot about that.
I was literally
entirely,
while it was happening, I was literally like, wait, didn't they
No, I forgot about that.
make it so that way that's like a quality of life change?
We've been so caught up in the whole.
I mean, if there was
possibility
a
that hatch
Marine
died,
there,
yeah.
you could still alley-oop it, but still, yeah, that's really funny.
Okay, there's gonna be a push coming out here. Army supplies, by the way. Bunny's much bigger. I mean, he has almost no SCVs here too.
Yeah, 19 SCVs is pretty ridiculous, but
Only 4
91 army supply. That's true. This is a 67 Marine army, dude.
And just like Bunny.
67?
Bunny, I knew he was going to put tanks and medevacs at some point in time. We're finally here. Oh my god.
Big stim in. He's going to try to get this. There is a lurker, and there's not going to be many scans as well because all of the energy is going to be used on mules at this point. Still lots of bio, only a few Banes in this engagement, and they're stuck behind the Hydras. Are they able to get the connections? They are not. Bunny's army supply remains very large. Cannot kill this lurker, though. That thing is saving Shin right now.
He's going to pull the drones. I think Bunny just won this. He's going to try to attack forward here. There's too much for Terran.
Oh my god, he's actually doing it.
Shin
Everything
laughing.
is dying. Shin's hands off the keyboard. Bunny.
Bunny slumps in his chair.
Woo. I don't blame him, man. What an absolute chaotic game. That is an exhausting one to win as well. But I am actually amazed that he was able to pull that off, considering how badly a few of those engages actually were going for him. It felt like he was going to get knocked out.
It was a crazy game.
Yeah.
I loved that. That was fun. Bunny at the last second managed to pull through. Shin had some great attacks. He did have some issues where like he'd have these fights where there's Banelings just kind of going back and forth behind the Hydras, not able to get in there and do the damage. One of those games you didn't know who was going to win until the last second, really.
Yeah, it could have been anyone's game at any point during that last couple minutes there. I really thought that like when Shin took that massive overextension as well earlier on. I'm amazed that Beyond Bunny won kind of in the way he did, because if he did win, I thought it was going to be during that time where Shin just way overextended and Bunny was able to just kind of go across the map after that, but it still was able to slug it out. Shin actually looking like he was going to bring it back towards the end there as well. Really just chaotic clown fiesta game right there.
Very different game. That hatchery never actually killed off. We're going to go Missing You Today. Going to Missing You Today for our map. It's map names, dude.
We will miss you today after the broadcast is over, though.
I'll miss you guys later tonight when the show ends. Oh, God. We're going to have Terran in the bottom right, Zerg in the top left. And, I mean, if we can top that last game, I'm going to be happy. But that's going to be a tall order.
Yeah, man. I love those games that just come down to the last unit. And you just really don't know. It's like 16, 20 minutes into the game, and it's like a 70 versus 70 overall supply game. And you're just like, how did we get to this point? Like, this is so ridiculous. The single lurker looking like he was actually going to end up winning the game, and then it doesn't end up doing it. You know, the Marine micro is just there.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're going to continue on with the ZVZ here. Crazy game we just saw for game number 2.
Yeah, it was really weird. It felt like we started really, really quick. We have the crazy 12 pool coming out, nice defense, and then kind of a seesaw back and forth with the Lings continually harassing from both sides. And then nothing happened for so long. And then suddenly it was just going crazy with all the lurkers going and Niduses everywhere, counterattacks all over the place, and then Vipers yoinking each other. What a strange
Vipers
ZVZ.
yoinking each other.
That's what was happening.
It was so hot. Yeah, it was a game where, like, it's hard to tell, like, who's going to win and what's going to happen, and then it got really wild there at the end. We're already going now into game number 3 here. Hopefully this is not a 3-0. And, yeah, I mean, let's see what exactly Solar's going to do. Rogue, by the way, really kind of upstaging the other Zergs, especially out here in Korea. Makes me very excited for this next match we could have here. If Rogue comes out looking this strong, how's he going to fare here against Lambo? Because Rogue seems to be entering into the form where he's just looking kind of untouchable, like he was before he did his military service.
Yeah. It's really cool to see Rogue getting to this level yet again. And I feel like it's really good, too, because, of course, we've had, a few months or so, maybe even longer, of, Zergs having some struggles in some of the tournaments. There's been a little bit less Zerg representation overall, especially in Korea, especially, with Dark going away and stuff like that. So it's really cool to see Rogue actually, coming up again and actually being a huge threat in a lot of these series. And last season, he did really well with the lower bracket run, going all the way to the finals. This season looks like he's going to be trying to do basically the same thing, as he's up 2-0 already in this next game.
Now, with this match between these two, Solar has looked... he looks always strong in ZVZ, but so far nothing he's done has quite worked. Like, I'm not too shocked he went for that opener in Game 1. By the way, I'm sorry, Game 2, excuse me. Game 2, by the way, it looked like it was going to be maybe the shortest game of the day, and it kind of ended up... It's crazy how you can have, like, a rush or a cheese like that like, then they don't quite kill each other, and it goes all the way to like every base being taken and every unit being made and stuff like that. But yeah, Rogue seems to be so well versed at like the early game and the ins and outs of like how you micro stuff when you cut drones, how to deal with a rush even if it totally blindsides you, like when the Lings run all the way around the Overlords. Then he's also just god tier at these like end game feints, like just doing a complete fake with a drop.
Yeah, that was so sick.
With Overlords, which I'm glad we're seeing that a little bit more in StarCraft 2. It's a little bit easier to do in StarCraft 1 to just kind of grab a bunch of Overlords because you're going to default with drop on them once you upgrade it. But it's always been a strong move.
Yeah, I always wonder why certain players don't go for stuff like that. As often. It's a nice little thing to throw in here. You have to respect it. Like, you can't just ignore 5 dropper Overlords walking across the map when you see it. Like, you have to you have to go back and try to defend.
This is one of the things in StarCraft 2 where ambiguity in the way things are set up can be really, really strong and can enhance the game. Like, the fact that you don't get to know if there are things in the drop Overlords is what makes that good.
Right, exactly.
Right? You don't want to, like, I mean, there's a world where this game was worse and they were like, we're going to have animations and make the Overlord bigger, like there's more stuff in there, and then it's like, well, now you know, right? But yeah, I'm glad we're seeing that. I've always thought that, you know, why don't we have that a little bit more often? I guess it's a little bit more mechanically demanding to do. You have to invest into the drop Overlords and then send them out. So in this game, it's going to be 2 bases for Rogue and 3 bases for Solar. A tale as old as time here in ZVZ, where one player is basically barricaded inside their base and not growing as fast, and the other is going to be out on the map and you know, trying to grow and trying to develop.
Yeah, it's kind of a throwback to the initial game in this series as well, of course, because that game Rogue went for the same exact build for this 2-base fast macro hatch with the wall, and then going for the Roach and the Evo Chamber and the fast lair, and then he went into mutas with it while going for kind of a fake Roach Ling pressure initially, and it really caught Solar off guard. So we'll see if he's going to do the same thing this time, or if he's actually going to go full all in with the Roach Ling actually on the ground instead of going for mutas whatsoever. So it's the options are open here for Rogue. I really like this overall mind game that he throws into these series, going for this build, something that can really do quite a lot of different things. And it's kind of, this is like my favorite way to kind of play StarCraft in general. It's just to have one build that has very slight deviations, but all look the same until you get there. That's like,
I love
it's
that.
So enjoyable to play that kind of style.
I love that. When it can look like the same thing, but it can be actually repurposed in so many different ways. I love it. So we've got a lot of Lings coming across the map right now for Solar and Roaches and Ravagers and everything else in the game. Kind of a reverse of what you normally expect to see if you just looked at the mini-map and wondered what kind of game this is going to be here.
Yeah, Solar cut drones. He's only on 35.
Yeah, and by the way, I mean, taking out the Roach Swarm, we don't normally think of that as like a tech building that's, you know, important to have, which is why you normally see it out here in the front. But right now, he can't make more Roaches.
Yeah, this is really turning on its head all of a sudden. Solar was the one that was going full aggressive with that fast 3 base, and now Rogue is the one that's trying to defend on just 2 without a Roach Warrant as well. He can only make Zerglings now on this defense. The drones being forced to be pulled as well to be able to defend against this. Trying to kill everything off will get the initial defense so far. The Roach Warrant is still being made, but because Rogue went for this early 2-base lair build, going for the fast Roach speed as well, Ling speed also hasn't been made. So the Zerglings that are going to be coming out, which are the only thing he can make, do not even have speed.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, having slow Lings, there's nothing really worse than you can have right now here. Now, over time, he might want to try to maybe break down the Evo Chamber or something with these Ravagers. He's got enough damage he can kind of, you know, cycle this through over time. By the way, they're both ramping up damage. It's not like somebody's droning behind this right now. 18 Lings on the way. He has not gone for a dive-in just yet. The Roach Warrant's been remade here for Rogue. An attack in, and the Lings do manage to slip through the bottom, which is going to give them a lot more surface area. You even see the Ravager now getting surrounded. Oh, actually hatches, excuse me.
Yeah, we'll be able to keep that one alive. A bio is going to get dodged as well by Rogue, and the Zerglings now start to thin out. It looks like Solar actually is getting held off. The Roaches able to maneuver around these small choke points, really allowing the surface area to just be limited from Solar, not able to get those good engagements. And we kind of said that the, you know, slow Zerglings are kind of one of the worst units in the game, essentially. But in that situation, it doesn't even seem like it was that big of a deal, just because the Lings were already up in the faces of the other units as well. So it wasn't really, they weren't able able to abuse the fact that the Solar's Lings had speed. So it didn't really come into too much of a play. So Rogue able to make that defense work out. And now he's going to be able to slowly take his own third base as well. But Solar actually is going committed with this as well. So this is actually not even over yet.
He's doubling down, just like Artosis did when he called Rogue the GOAT. He's going to go back in here, and Solar's just going to try to come in and smash him again. This has been such an action-packed game. The question is Rogue going to be in a healthy position? By the way, Solar is getting more and more behind in workers. Like, Rogue is trying to navigate this into a macro game. The surround is insane. The biles do connect, some of them in full. On the left side, Rogue has so much. And I don't know if Solar has enough to pull through. Now, the vulnerable Ravagers are going to be over here onto the side. Reinforcements hitting. You can see, some of the Ravagers, you do want those to be covered by Lings or Roaches. Those are your highest value units. So the fact that Rogue has a lot but is basically getting disjointed positionally is pretty bad.
Yeah, it looked for a second that the flank on the left-hand side was actually going to be very good, but like you said, there's nothing there to actually defend the squishy Ravagers, so they will get picked off, and now it's led to a very scrappy situation overall. The +1 Carapace has really been carrying Rogue in these engagements as well, so that's going to be really good to continue on with this as well. The Queens trying to get brought into this to the front lines. I mean, the Ling counterattack, Ling reinforcements, I should say, are trying to swing this as well for Solar. It's so down to the wire, but it looks like Rogue actually will be able to make the defense. Solar bows out in a 3-0 for Rogue.
That was insane. I can't believe how well Rogue played.
Yeah, man. He's good. He's back. He's just fully back, man. This dude cannot be stopped.
Artosis Doubter's shaking right now at home.
He's going to triple down, man.
Morrow and Cyril are still better. They know they're wrong. They saw it happen. That was so impressive. The fact, and that's a really unusual setup, right? You're the guy that's basically turtling and teching, and the 3-base guy kind of the third base is part of like the little magic trick, the illusion of a macro game. Hits him hard. There was a period where the Roach Warren was killed off, and it's like not clear, what, you can only make slow Lings and then try to play the game from there.
I thought it was actually just going to snowball right there. Like you just lose your major production facility. Like, how are you going to defend against that? And I mean, Rogue able to just do it. The positioning around those little choke points was so well done.
Yeah, so this is the bracket as of now. And
as of now. And in the future, it won't look like this anymore.
Eventually, it's not complete now, but eventually it will be. So, I mean, I loved that series that we had back there. Again, Rogue looking so scary. So, in the future here, Hero versus Clem and Lambo versus Rogue, no matter what, like we said at the start of the show today,
yes,
we have that golden ratio.
David Kim.
He
just keeps winning.
Do you feel that? It got cold in the room. That was the ghost of David Kim here. I felt it. I felt his presence. He walked through me.
Oh, my God. He's just flying around the room right now.
Yeah, he is.
That bit failed.
We both just went like, we have nothing else to say. So, I mean, great bracket that we've got so far. Let's do a plug. Patreon. Vote on maps. Get all the replays. Vote on players. Join our Discord. But most of all, ask us questions. Ask us questions.
Ask us questions.
Guys, we need your support. Get the credit card out and make sure that you put in the 3 numbers on the back of the card,
It doesn't need to be your credit card either. Just
get mom's
steal
credit card,
get grandma's
dad's credit card.
Tell grandma you want a gift. This is just for you for your birthday.
Yep, that's right.
They'll always succumb to that.
The greatest gift of all. She's going to give you like $20 in a little card, and you're going to be like, do you know what inflation, what that is? That's like nothing, Grandma. All right, let's sign up for the Patreon. Guys, we are continuing to try to grow our Patreon. It funds the prize pool, the production, and most importantly, the offline event that we do at the end of the year. That's a huge chunk of where that Patreon money goes. And we did one last year in December. We rented out in the Gangnam area. Like, we staffed the whole thing, got people to put like RSL, like laminate stuff on the wall. We had like player booths built and everything. So your support goes a long way here. We want to basically have, at StarCraft 2, like, the game's great. And by the way, I am really interested in the new patch and the patches to come from that patch as well. I am, interested in seeing where the game and the meta goes. But we've had like 2 kind of weird, bumpy years of StarCraft, and we basically just committed to coming in here and at least promising the scene that will do stuff, will be consistent. You can count on us to do this, and it's been incredible. So patreon.com/ReviveSC2 if you would like to support our cause. We're going to have a short break. When we come back, we're going to have our final match here of the evening for tonight's RSL.
Surprised that Bunny is doing this well. I thought that Shin was kind of coming in today. He was just going to kind of roll Bunny over with how well he was doing in GSL and everything. Yeah. This is kind of a surprising way this series is going.
I'm pretty blown away. We saw earlier Shin look kind of laughing, at the situation. He's in. Oh. Yeah, he just taps out. I was going to say this is pretty impossible. Bunny.
Wow.
Bunny playing amazingly in that game.
Yeah, that had to be some of the best play I've seen from Bunny in a very long time.
I think so.
Bunny has been this kind of up and down player in the history of StarCraft where he's had a couple moments where he was doing really well. Like you mentioned before, like that CC first meta into those like 2 base all in kind of or like 8 racks pushes and stuff like that. He really thrived during that era. But then he kind of dips down again, kind of just disappears a little bit, doesn't really have great results. And now here he is coming in with some really good play against a player that's red hot from their GSL group.
Yeah, I mean, he played really impressively. I love the way he was able to hold off the Roach Ravager. There was a couple moments it looked like that was going to be enough to break him. Excellent control. The pushing was amazing. I don't think that Shin really played poorly at all, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe being a little bit lackluster on the infestor control in a couple of the engagements maybe made it a little bit difficult for him. So a couple of sloppy engages overall. But, I mean, yeah, Bunny definitely coming in, showing that he's here to play for RSL Group C.
Yeah. Guys, check out our merch at tastelessthreads.com. We've got esports-related stuff, stuff related to me, or if you want to just get like an RSL hoodie, go for it, man. We got all sorts of RSL stuff on there. If you're a Patreon supporter, it is a discount. I can't remember how much it is, though. 20? What?
Something like that?
That's too much. That's highway robbery. So yeah, go to tastelessthreads.com. We're gonna take a short break, and when we return, I got Elmer Fudd voice here. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, Tasteless here. I wanted to show you our Terran set for the StarCraft Tabletop Miniatures game. You can see we've got all the pieces assembled here. It comes with 12 Marines, 3 Medics, 2 Marauders, 1 Sentry Drone, and then the final piece is Jim Raynor here. Each Marine in the set has a unique loadout. Over here, you have the Raynor's Raiders version of the Marines. Each one with a rifle and a bayonet attached. But honestly, these look incredible. The amount of detail is insane. Like we've said before, these look exactly like what you see in the cinematics for StarCraft 2. Now, it's important to remember, as amazing as this looks, this is more than just a bunch of cool figurines. This is actually a game. Each figurine comes with a corresponding card. So this is Jim Raynor, and you can see on the card his different attributes listed, what he's able to do, and this is what you'd be using when you're actually playing against your friends. So just like in the game, you're able to get different upgrades for each of the units. So for the Marine, if you flip the card around, you can see you can go for combat shields, grenades, or other various upgrades, which are going to change the whole experience of what you're having when you're playing the game. When a game starts, you get minerals and Vespian gas. The units cost minerals, the tactical cards cost Vespian gas. Take a tactical card, flip it over, you'll see exactly what abilities that tactical card gives you.
In order to get started, go to the StarCraft Tabletop Miniatures game website. There you can find the game rules, but also the army builder. From there, you pick a faction, how many minerals and Vespian gas you get. You spend those minerals and Vespian gas to unlock units and tactical cards. And from there, you're ready to go. For more information, sign up for the newsletter on Archon Studios' StarCraft Tabletop Miniatures game website. Check it out.
To really deflect the roaches of the Ravagers. Welcome back, everyone, to the RSL. I'm State, joined here with Gemini, and we're getting ready to hop into the second series of the day. It's going to be Shameless versus Beyond.
Oh, yeah. Welcome, by the way, State. This is your first day of the new season, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been missing you guys.
Welcome on back. Yes, we have you coming on in. And yeah, Shameless versus Beyond as our first match for State here today. A nice little PVT. Are you excited here? Because this is a newcomer to the RSL.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I actually have never seen Shameless play before. I've seen the names pop up in brackets, but no games that I've seen, no games that I have cast, and so I'm really excited to see what he's going to bring to the table. And unfortunately for Shameless, this is a pretty tough group. I mean, Shin,
yeah,
Beyond names. you and Taze were just talking about how you always.
Dude, it's so hard. They're so similar. It's
Bunny and Beyond. Oh my goodness, tongue twister. Yeah, this is a tough group, especially with everybody competing in the GSL these days. So let's see how Shameless, the newcomer, is going to hold up. I'm off to a great start, aren't I, Gemini?
I love that. That's awesome. Oh my god. Anyways, yeah, Shameless versus Beyond coming on in on Old Republic as our first map. Very curious to see how this one goes. Shameless, someone that has been kind of on the up and up the last couple of years, playing in a lot of the Open Cups, and the Wardy TVs, and the Roddy doing the big brain bouts every now and then as well with him. He had actually a very decent run recently. I think just in one of the Monday nights a couple days ago, he beat Beyond, Classic, and Hero.
Oh, wow.
Back to back, which is kind of crazy. I didn't actually notice this until a little earlier, but yeah, that's a pretty crazy run from Shameless. He's been having more and more of these series lately where he does kind of upset some of these top dogs. So we'll see if he can continue that consistency. That's always the problem with some of these newer up-and-coming players, is that sure, they might be able to take a series here and there, but can they keep doing it consistently in these big tournaments?
Yeah, it's awesome to have a new face here in the RSL. Shameless is going to spot the SCV, and look at this SCV just completely safeguarded by the engineering bay right in the center.
God, I hate that RNG, man. It's so annoying. We'll be able to eventually pull that thing away, but yeah, that is going to be very annoying as Shameless. I never like those eBay blocks, man.
Yeah, they kind of throw a wrench into the works for absolutely everything in terms of your timings, but I like the response that Shameless went for. He had a proactively there on the low ground. Was that the natural expansion the moment the SCV came in, and then 5 probes able to take that down. Beyond really walking a fine line. That cancel was very close for a moment. I thought Shameless might actually get the kill.
Thought it was going to be another one of those pro gamer moments like we had last series.
Yeah.
With both Bunny and it was Bunny and Shin. This is going to be so hard today, man. Beyond and Bunny is just the worst two pairings. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to be just going for a normal standard style coming from both these players. Basically, of course, the eBay block making it a little bit awkward, but Shameless going for the pro pull method, doesn't want to take the forward third like we see some players try to go for. I personally kind of like what Shameless does with this. I feel like I don't enjoy watching the forward third games just because it feels like it feels that it's so vulnerable. Like, you know, the Hellion can come in a little bit later and make it very difficult. I feel like it can just be something that you can avoid overall. And just going for the pro pull, it's not the worst thing, I think. Because, you know, they have to waste resources going for the eBay block in the first place. So I feel like it kind of evens out overall when they go for this reaction.
Yeah, I agree with you, especially if you have a probe already in the natural expansion.
Right, yeah.
I feel like sometimes if you scout your natural expansion a little bit too late and see the engineering base already halfway done, well, then you don't really have much of an option, right? So in this case, it's actually going to be a 3cc opening here for Bjorn, playing quite greedily, whereas Shameless opting for a Stargate play.
Wow, okay.
So you don't see very often in modern PvT. We did get a couple games of Stargate PvT in GSL over the past few weeks. So maybe a little bit of a resurgence with this opening. We'll see where Shameless wants to go with this.
Yeah, this is interesting. Both some pretty unorthodox builds coming out from both players here with 3cc and the Stargate. So I'm very curious to see how this interaction plays out. Going to be an Oracle coming out first from Shameless as well. Not going to be going for a Phoenix opener, which sometimes you do see with the Stargate as well, going into like Phoenix Colossus or something like that, with the Phoenixes to deny any sort of aggression or drops coming out of the Terran. But luckily for Shameless, it's not going to be that. So it's not going to it's not like he's wasting a Phoenix opener against someone who's not even going to be harassing him in the first place. So we'll be going for that Oracle, and we'll likely get the scout off that it's 3cc about as early as you can with this type of opener.
Yeah, and I wonder if Shameless has caught wind of this, because there are way fewer Marines than there should be here on the low ground right now. The barracks are very delayed, and actually the count is such that I wouldn't be surprised if Shameless just jumped on top of these Marines with the Adepts and the Stalker, came in with the Oracle, and just try to take this down, because there is no bunker right now for Bjorn. All right, here comes the Oracle. Only 5 SCVs left standing. Oracle's going to micro back. Some more Marines going to re-join from the main base. That will deflect Shameless for now, but honestly, for those 2 early Adepts, a great trade here for Protoss, getting confirmation scout as well in the 3rd CC. And still no bunker here in the natural expansion, so Shameless could do some micro with the Stalker, get even more damage done.
Yeah, I do like that play from Shameless, just kind of bringing it to Bjorn a little bit, not like kind of shrinking in the, you know, the threat of how good Bjorn is and just the caliber of player that he is. So Shameless, you know, doing what he thinks is the correct play and doing a bit of an aggressive opening play right there. So, you know, some players that are maybe not as experienced or not as used to playing in the huge tournaments or whatever might be kind of wary to go for a side of kind of a play like that, but overall pretty nice poke there, getting those 5 Marines, and of course forcing the reaction from Bjorn here as well. Unfortunately, can't get a few more SCVs as that turret is nicely placed, but yeah, overall I like the play style coming in from Shameless so far.
Yeah, it's an excellent start for him. There is a bunker finish now, the natural expansion of Bjorn, so Shameless will no longer get any damage in with these Stalkers. And the adaptation, after scouting the 3rd CC, has been a forge and a very fast 3rd base follow-up here for Protoss, as Shameless is continuing to power up. Oracle scouting the main base once more, and here with the Revelation, just able to identify exactly what kind of structure Bjorn is going for in terms of his macro game plan. And it's a very standard build here for Bjorn.
Yeah, we'll see how aggressive he actually wants to be once all these barracks start to kick in and once his bio count gets pretty heavy. But for now, Shameless is going to be just sitting back, getting his blink finished up here, going into a 2nd forge quite quickly, actually. Obviously, he knows that it's 3rd CC, very fast from Bjorn as well, so he's taking that into calculation, knowing that he can go for a much faster 2nd forge, knowing that there's not going to be as much crazy aggression coming his way. So he's got room to move in that regards. Going to be doing a little bit of blink pressure at the front, trying to chip away as many units as possible, and then just blinking back the Stalkers that are weakened, knowing again that there's going to be no early stim coming out or anything like that. He's not going to waste all of his health trying to stim right now when the medevacs are not going to be near coming out. So I like this play from Shameless. He's just kind of being in Bjorn's face, is not being threatened by the fact that, you know, Bjorn is a very you know, threatening player overall. So this is looking good for Shameless.
Yeah, especially with how delayed the medevacs are with the opening that Bjorn had went for. 3cc into 3 racks, then taking up into the medevacs means that these Stalkers are getting a lot more damage than they would in a normal macro PvT. And as a result, Shameless feels confident enough to not go into splash damage yet. He's taking the 4th base, only just now took the 4th assimilator, and that's the cue for him to build the robotics facility. Up until now, it's just 2 forges, excuse me, a ton of gateways, and a very low-tech army. That should work against the smaller grouping of bio that Bjorn has, because it still is only 7 minutes into the game, but pretty soon I think Shameless is going to start adding in Colossi or some other splash damage.
Yeah, you definitely need it once the game goes a little bit longer. Shameless continuing to do a pretty decent job of picking off units here and there. Starting to lose a few Stalkers, though, on the trade is not exactly the best, of course. You want to be able to keep all of those alive, and with Blink off cooldown, you should be able to actually do so. Nice little scouting probe. We'll see that these units are coming to the right-hand side, so Shameless will start to set up a flank as well, as the majority of his units go over towards the right, but then the flanking Zealots on the top will be able to section off a few of those bio units and actually force Beyond away.
Oh, that was an awesome split by Shameless, intercepting the reinforcements. Now the Stalkers can blink forward and one-shot the Medivacs when they get into range. Bit of a sloppy engagement right now by Beyond, and Shameless making him pay for it. That was about the best trade you could possibly hope for, with a pure Gateway army, Stalkers and Zealots attacking in to a Terran that has been mustering for 7-8 minutes now.
Yeah, that's very nice right there. Wow, very fast second starport coming out as well from Beyond. He's kind of sniffing out this Colossus transition and wants to get ahead of it before it can actually hit the field, hoping that he can...
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the RSL. It's time for our final match of the evening. This is going to be in the winner's bracket.
Yeah, Hero versus Clem. It's about as stacked as you could possibly imagine here at the top 4 of the RSL. I am so excited to decide the first finalist here in Season 5. Hero, he really had a tremendous run in the RSL in 2025. I mean, he was just the champion of the RSL, really, if you look back at that year. But Clem, he's kind of an upstart coming into this one. And TVP is kind of an interesting place right now. I'm not sure who is going to take this. Will we have our first foreigner champion, our first non-Protoss champion, or at least a shot at it with Clem advancing into the final round? Or is Hero once more going to be in the finals of the RSL?
I mean, Hero, this has kind of been his tournament so far. He's just been dominating. And going into this, I think if anybody could beat Hero, it would be Clem. Clem looks incredibly strong. Clem is, he plays Terran against Protoss and Protoss against Terran. Which is kind of an unusual thing. Normally when you get people that pick a race in a matchup, usually they're trying to avoid the other side of the matchup, right? They see an inherent difficulty in it they want to avoid, or they don't understand, or whatever it is. But I've been really interested in seeing how Clem plays both TVP and PvT here. Before we get into this match, guys, shout outs to Archon Studio. They're making the tabletop StarCraft miniatures game. It's so good. Not even just the StarCraft stuff, all the stuff on their site. They've got stuff for all sorts of different franchises. These guys are the premier tabletop makers for miniature games in the world, and their stuff's incredible. I love what they did with their products. It rings true to the way that the StarCraft universe looks and feels, especially in the cinematics.
Yeah, we're lucky that the StarCraft universe is in their hands, honestly. Everything they've been building looks incredible. They've been sending us a lot of these sets, the starter sets especially, that just look awesome. Ziggy is constantly painting away at them, and I'm examining every little miniature. They're just perfect, so absolutely check them out. Anyway, folks, we're getting ready to go into the upper bracket finals here between Clem and Hero, a best of 7.
Yeah, battle of the kind of lightly penciled on mustaches here. I'm excited to see who's going to take this. Clem and Hero. This is going to be, honestly, in all seriousness, like such a sick match. I'm kind of rooting for Clem here, if I'm going to be honest, just because, we've had a lot of Korean domination here in the RSL. And
we've had a lot of Protoss domination in the RSL,
well,
honestly.
it's double trouble. It's Korean and Protoss, right? So it'd be cool to see the variance. But again, Hero's so skilled. He seems to really understand this matchup. And we're going to hop into it, guys, this best of 7. Remember, the winner goes on into the finals match, the grand finals match for tomorrow for this RSL. Let's do it. Clem here in the top right and Hero in the bottom left.
Yeah, and we're starting on Celestial Enclave here for map number 1. One of the maps that lends itself most to long, drawn-out macro games of everything that we've got in the pool. I mean, we just got a real good taste of that between Solar and a Rogue, I believe, in either map number 1 or map number 2. Can be a pretty epic field to do battle on. But I don't know if that's how we're going to go necessarily here between Clem and Hero, because Hero, he is the most aggressive Protoss player in the world, frankly, at this level. He loves to bring the fight to you. He loves to be in your face in moments where, even us as casters or as fans of the game, watching the Protoss player kind of build up their system, will look at the position and be like, oh, well, you should be defending in this moment. Hero's the kind of guy that will just move across the map anyway. and try and go for an engagement. And Clem is kind of similar in a sense. You know, Clem is constantly looking to try and pull the opponent apart with multitasking, trying to out-micro them, trying to get little tiny bits of advantage through every skirmish. I think this will be a pretty explosive match.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. And PVT, you know, this is really the matchup in the last 2 years that I think has been the focal point of a lot of conversations, a lot of venting online. You know, about how do the races work? Can Protoss get too big? Is this the way the game should look? There's been periods where it seemed like Protoss was unstoppable in the late game, although, you know, just in like the first part of this year up to now, we've seen that Terrans can kind of just wait it out, macro up, good like mass marauders, get ghosts, kind of power through this, do base trades. And of course, we are on the advent of a new iteration of StarCraft 2 here, where the worker count will change, where the mechanics of Protoss are going to be changing a lot as well. But I've enjoyed seeing these different iterations in different forms of the meta. And, you know, I should point out, too, here, you know, a lot of what PVT looks like now in this version of the game is actually what PVTs look like for almost the entirety of StarCraft 1, weirdly, which is where Protoss really does get the whole map, and Terran, you know, maybe gets their quadrant, way less bases, but it does appear to be a very even matchup. It just has to play out a very specific way. And that is statistically the longest matchup in StarCraft 1 is PVT. TVT's gotten a little bit shorter, a little bit tighter. So yeah, I don't know. I've really enjoyed seeing how this matchup's developed and what these the players have done to approach this.
Yeah, the ebb and flow of PVT, especially in 2026, has been very interesting. And we've kind of gotten a crash course on it over the last month with so many games played in the RSL, with Season 1 of GSL, with Season 2 of GSL, that you've seen the meta almost develop in real time. You know, the mass expand style for PVT has been around for a while, but I think especially over the last 5 or 6 weeks or so, we've seen Terran players, Kier comes to mind especially, absolutely dominate in the late game if they were able to get that way, just playing an exhaust style of PVT. And we've also seen Terran players really hinge a lot on going for early aggressive builds. Now, speaking of early aggressive builds, here in game number 1 between Hero and Clem, Hero went for the typical Twilight Council follow-up to the fast expansion, but this is not actually going to be a Blink build. We have a Dark Shrine and a Probe hidden.
He's going to make a pylon in the interior base, and like, this is going to be so rough here for Clem. This is a great build for this map for a first game in a best of 7, because this might just kill Clem. It gives no intel for Clem on how Hero intends to play versus him in more macro-oriented games. And, you know, DT rushes, they can be pretty scary, but especially if they manage to get a pylon in your main, you can lose stuff so quickly. And Terrans are landing mules like the second they have energy. So if this is timed out correctly, this is going to be really, really strong. Now, at the same time, Clem is moving across the map. He is looking to poke in here. We don't have a lot from Protoss at all, and a Cyclone can already kite pretty well. Now, the DTs are headed up towards the main. Now, he's going to split them, and I think Clem already knows.
Yeah.
That grimace, there are DTs in my base space.
Raven about halfway done already, so Clem should be able to deal with this in just a moment, but for now, it's Hero's world to get as much damage done as possible.
Oh my god, he just dives on the tank. Yeah, you know, there's a whole art to like splitting the DTs, but then also knowing when you have enough DTs, because this is so early in the game, you might be able to just overpower them with what you've got.
Yeah, auto turret's going to drop right now. Raven trying to go after one DT there on the side. Oh, Hero, he turns this into an Archon, goes for a recall, and it will survive just barely. 2 shields left. There was a moment where Clem was maneuvering back down to the natural expansion. If he was firing with the Marines in that instance, this Archon would be dead. Instead, the shield battery going to power it all the way back to full shields. And it's not over yet. Clem doesn't know how this got to the base. He thinks it might be a warp prism or something. There's now a proxy gateway warping in Clem's natural. Will he spot this? Oh, he still doesn't know.
No!
He doesn't check.
No! I just assumed. I assumed that he knew, like, for sure, that this would eventually just be cleaned up. No way!
I can't believe that Clem never checked.
He's going to charge. He's going to warp in so many Zealots when the time's right.
All right, well, Zealots are warping in right now, and Hero's going to be hitting the front of Clem's base simultaneously. How many Zealots do you wait for here as Hero? The third base is coming online for Protoss, but there's 4 more gateways in production.
Oh, this is disgusting. In my cast for this next fight, I'm just gonna spit on the floor, right? It's gonna come down. This is crazy. He's got to get this in here. At this point in time, Clem has to know there's a pylon there. Clem holds the front pretty well, but the Zealots are doing so much damage in the main.
8 SCVs fall. That Siege Tank low on HP, and now Hero setting his eyes on Stim. The Tech Lab already about halfway down. DT even coming into this. Scan will come in, but I think there's enough damage that the Tech Lab is going to be finished off. Stim Pack denied. More DTs warping in. Is the Raven still alive? The Raven was lost.
Oh my God, and there's 2 DTs. I was gonna call them hamburger DTs because they just went right through the scan, but yeah, he doesn't have detection. This is the most disastrous early game TVP I think we've had of any RSL game. This is crazy. I don't think there's any way Clem can recover from this.
He's about to have a scan, but there are 4 DTs getting to work on turrets, on army, on infrastructure. And Hero's already pivoting. He's already going into double forge. He's already planning for the next step. And this first scan, it doesn't spot any of the 2 remaining DTs here in the top right corner.
You basically have to keep them out of that circular radius of where the scan is. He's going to pick up. He's just going to go out. He's leaving the tanks behind, so this is not any kind of... well, it's not going to be a push, that's for sure. Clem's supply block now. Another scan comes down, but it doesn't get the DT on the right. Well, it could. He stepped in there. He's crazy.
Oh my God! So many Zealots warping in for a Hero. That pylon and gateway still unscouted. Now Hero working his way into the natural expansion, and Clem going for a triple drop here in the main base of Hero. And what does Hero have to defend? He is going to warp into DT for now. Some more Zealots. Does Clem have a scan available? Because of DT versus non-combat shields, Demarians can one-shot them.
The DTs can defend too. You can warp them at home. That was so insane.
That was so dirty.
That was like it was like a video of somebody being tortured to death. I mean, it was just that was horrifying.
Yeah,
pylon
that was
in the main. Now, I can't say that I can blame Clem for not seeing the pylon in the main. I mean, this is, what was the first time we ever had this happen that I can think of? I remember seeing Huck do this. Like, it was like a professional match, not like an online
I was going to say, it's
someone's
like
trying to type
it.
in a Twitch, shut up, in my game, but yeah, if you do that so rarely ever in tight games like that where you're trying to like hit all your marks and macro up perfectly, you might just not check for that. Now, what's crazy is he didn't check for it after the DT warping happened.
He didn't even check for it after the first round of Zealots came into the main base, and they got the Tech Lab too.
Yeah.
Clem maybe was just continuously assuming that it was a warp prism, but I feel like you got to check the corners in a situation like that one, you know?
Can the DTs get in there that fast?
I mean, maybe like if you position...
Do you have enough gas to get a Robo and DTs and have a warp prism there?
I'm sure it's possible, but you'd have to cut a lot, right?
Yeah, maybe that's just what he thought he had at that moment. Well, that game, that's not going to be recreated. There's no way that game could have gone better for Hero.
Yeah, that was a real Protoss' game.
That was a Protoss' game right there. That was Protoss poetry.
My goodness.
All right, now I don't know how to say this map name. How do I say this map?
It's Exarch, I think.
Exarch.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for the nod, everybody.
I think Sturgeon just gave me a thumbs down. I'm not sure that was about it. Oh, thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay,
thumbs up?
Who knows? It could have been a Roman thumbs up. I think that means they want to kill me. Yeah. I'm not sure. Anyway.
Let him live. Let him live for one more cast.
Exarch here for game number 2. Hero going for an early scout, checking the bottom right corner. This is a 4-player map, so you don't know exactly where your opponent is scouted. And it is maybe the most unique map that we've had here in the RSL. I mean, just look at the minimap. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Not only is it as chaotic as you see with the speed zones, with the debris, with the mineral walls, with the expansions every which way, but there's also some pretty interesting features on the very edge of the map. There's like a little worker-only chute. You can basically like send your probes through a pneumatic tube to get to the other side of the map. It's it's very unique.
It's like a little mine cart you take, like you're Donkey Kong, and you go through there to get to the other side.
Hold on, Tasteless. Okay, wait. So Hero scouted the bottom right base, and now he's going double gas, and he's sending the probe between these top 2 bases. He wants to proxy without scouting the main base of Clem.
Okay, so this is something that StarCraft 1 has like almost all 4-player maps. There's like a couple of 2-player and 3-player maps, or spawn maps is probably the right term. So what this is a build where, yeah, you basically get to do a really strong proxy once you've concluded they're not in that spot there. There's a version of this in StarCraft 1 where you just blindly do this. You like flip a coin basically, and there's like a 2 out of 3 chance your proxy is going to be really strong. But I guess, you know, with more workers at the start of this, that idea can be applied, but you can actually confirm it. So I've never really seen this exactly used, but it makes total sense when you see it. And by the way, if this works and hits Clem so hard again, that's going to be brutal. Because I would imagine most players think that 4-player maps, they're a little bit safer on right at the start, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the map is absolutely massive, right? If Hero goes for any sort of traditional attack, it'll take ages for it to move cross-map and enter the natural expansion from Clem. But there's actually a proxy gateway just outside the natural of our Terran player. And Hero behind it's also building a robo, so he's not trying to do some pressure and then transition into a macro game. Hero's basically going all in with this move.
Shoutouts to Mop, who followed this SCV perfectly through the entire tube now. Here it is in the main.
Has spots. Oh, wait. It doesn't check the natural expansion. Oh. Does Clem not yet know?
Yeah, he has no idea.
Oh, this is going to be brutal. Adepts are coming in. The Stalker's coming in. The Robo's also proxied close to the natural expansion here for Clem. Clem doesn't have a bunker in the natural.
Oh, my God. And this is already like a really hard spot to even hold because, you know, you could be hit from such a wide angle. He's going to deny the completion of the command center, which is massive. SCVs are going to be sent down here. He probably wants to at least finish this off so he can fly to safety if he has to.
Yeah, but an Immortal is already in production. Every single Marine has fallen already, and more gateway units are reinforcing. SCVs are going to go up into the command center, fly back into the main base, and the wall goes up, but the Immortal is nearly done.
I can't believe how crazy this game is. Command center is going to land over here.
Clem still hasn't scouted the natural expansion. He sees just the one gateway in the main base, but I think he knows that something is up with 3 gateway units here in the main. More gateways warping in now.
Now, if Clem survives this without taking too much damage, he will win this game. But the problem is that the Immortal is such a damage dealer. Can he actually get the depot? Yes, he can. GG. Oh my God.
This is the dirtiest start to a PvT series I have seen in so long.
If you play Terran Zerg, this is, I mean, you have nausea right now.
It's traumatizing.
You've got diarrhea. You're sick, okay? You're going to be bedridden. But if you're a Protoss player,
it's beautiful.
What's that meme with the guy with the salt? He's like putting salt down on the food, the chef?
Yeah, the Salt Bay guy.
I mean, these builds are so good from Hero.
Yeah.
This is some of the dirtiest Protoss play I've ever seen.
I mean, Hero and Clem, they've battled it out so often in online tournaments and offline tournaments. They know each other inside and out, but this is like Hero turning it up to 11 with the aggression, going for a Dark Templar in game number 1, proxy pylon, I think even a proxy gateway in the pocket expansion of Clem.
Yeah.
Completely toppling him. And then in game number 2, on the largest map that we have in the pool, by the way, going for a proxy gate, a proxy robo. That's something that Hero could not have done if he didn't. If Clem spawned at the bottom right, the pro would get there. It would leave.
That's a good point. Yeah,
and Clem would probably
maybe
be
he has
suspicious.
like another rush. I guess
I'm sure he does something.
Once you see the probe come in, you go, all right, well.
Yeah, but you know, an early probe scout like that, if the probe then leaves and doesn't harass you, you're going to be suspicious. You're like, oh, well, what is this probe actually doing now? Because that is such an un-Hero move. Anyway, really crazy game number 1 and game number 2. I have no idea what the rest of this series is going to look like, but who knows? Maybe the aggression is just going to keep piling on.
Guys, be sure to join our YouTube. We're trying to grow our little tiny humble YouTube into an out-of-touch crazy, I don't know, Mr. Beast YouTube? What are the biggest YouTubers now? Is it still Mr. Beast?
Mr. Beast is one of them. That's the guy that's just like, I locked...
Ziggy, you watched every Mr. Beast YouTube, all right? I know you have yours because you like every video. Oh, my God. He's going to give $1,000 to somebody in Walmart? I got to see this. Now... There's a feature called Hype, and I don't know how available this is in your country, or, you know, I think you have to be on your phone. If the video's like under a week old, you can hype it. This is some new way to promote stuff, so consider doing it. But if not, just like, subscribe, leave comments. Hopefully not mentally ill ones like some of you guys leave on our YouTube, but, you know, anything works. We'll take whatever we can get. But that helps us get out there in the algorithm and spread the word.
Anyway, folks, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to continue on with this best of 7 between Hero and Clem.
What's up, guys? Tasteless here. I'm very excited to show you the Protoss units we just finished assembling from the StarCraft Tabletop Miniatures game. And look at how amazing these came out. We've got the Zealot over here. We've also got a figurine with the Zealot shields being shown, as if it's taking damage. We've also got Adepts, and I love that they brought out this mechanic from the game. You also have an Adept Shade here. How sick is this? They also brought out the Sentry with the Force Field. All the mechanics that come from StarCraft you can find in this game. In this one, we also get the Pylon in the game as well. With Zerg, you get Kerrigan. With Terran, you get Raynor. With Protoss, the hero unit is Artanis. Beyond this looking amazing, you gotta remember this is actually a game that you can play with your friends. Each unit comes with a corresponding card. You look at the card, you can see the different attributes for that unit. In this case, Artanis is a commander, so he's able to better control different objectives during the game. Just like in a classic game of StarCraft, every unit has upgrades. So you turn your card around, and as you can see, there are different upgrades you can get. Those are going to give you different abilities that you can use when you're playing the game. When you start the game, you get both minerals and Vespian gas. The minerals allow you to unlock units. The Vespian gas, you get to unlock tactical cards. Take a tactical card, flip it around, you see what kind of abilities you're going to be able to cast when you're playing the game. In order to get started, go to the StarCraft Tabletop Miniatures game website. There you can find the game rules, but also the army builder. From there, you pick a faction, how many minerals and Vespian gas you get. You spend those minerals and Vespian gas to unlock units and tactical cards. And from there, you're ready to go. For more information about the StarCraft Tabletop Miniatures game, go to Archon Studios' website and sign up for their newsletter. Check it out.
In there, the Planetary Fortress is able to deal with a lot of the units coming on in. The splash damage gets pretty ridiculous. And then it's, you know, the Liberator circles start to get set up, and it's just so hard to actually bust these positions. So Shameless taking the perfect fight at the perfect opportunity and is able to stop Beyond before he's able to get into that crazy late game scenario.
Yeah, it was a very well-played game by Shameless. It's honestly impressive performance both in Game 1 and in Game 2, and now he's tying up 1-1 with one of the best Terran players in the world as we're waiting for map number 3 to get loaded in, and I'm really impressed with what I've seen so far. I think this is going to be a fun group.
Yeah, no, it's again, a very unique style to it as well. Just going for that interesting charge first with the Sentry, trying to force Beyond back into his base a little bit. Because that was also after an Engineering Bay block as well, so it's like, you go across the map, you know that they went for the eBay block, so you might be, their CC might be just a little bit later, so maybe you can kind of get over there and put a little bit more pressure on them and force them back a little bit, kind of get the gain equaled up a little bit more since you had to get your Nexus a little bit later. And then he goes for that, again, interesting charge slot Archon attack on the 2-base, against the 2-base Terran, which, again, you don't normally see as much, and you kind of, again, force them off a little bit, delay them from getting the 3rd base, and then he's kind of just expanding back at home.
I think it's been one of the most enjoyable parts of watching Shameless play, is we're just kind of discovering this new play style that this young player has, this newcomer into the RSL, and it's very aggressive, as you said. It feels like almost every single game he is trying to get in the face of his opponent, and that might be typical if you're trying to play versus like a really macro-oriented player, but he's doing this versus Beyond, who's one of the more aggressive Terran players that we have in Korea.
Fight
and
fire
it's
with fire,
from
man.
Game 1 all the way to Game 2. Game 1 we had that Oracle opening. Game 2 we had a lot of early gateway pressure, plus the proxy gateway. It's a refreshing outlook.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're just waiting for this 3rd game to get loaded on up. I think someone asked for a break, so we're just kind of waiting on that. We're not just yapping at you for no reason. We are just waiting for these players to get ready. But yeah, I'm very excited to see if Shameless can actually manage to do this I guess you would call it an upset, even though the last time these two players played, Shameless did also win, which is interesting. So, maybe it's not actually an upset. Maybe Shameless is actually just, at this level now where he's kind of leveled up in the last few months and is able to be more consistent against these top-level players.
It could be. I mean, Byun coming into GSL last week and also this week has been looking so good and so strong. So even though Shameless, as you said, won the last series they played against each other, in a tournament like the RSL, I'm still kind of giving Byun the edge. And anyway, folks, map number 3 is loaded in. Let's see who is going to win this series between the two. The young upstart and the veteran Byun. Shameless spawning down here.
Welcome back, everybody. We are currently speedrunning this day of RSL as Hero is already up 2-0 in some of the quickest games we have seen, and in some of possibly the dirtiest games we've seen as well. My inner Protoss heart is really just loving Hero right now, I'll be honest.
They were absolutely filthy games. I need a bath in bleach after that. I need to get a brush and scrub under my nails for hours. It won't come out. That was absolutely filthy, but I mean, very fun to watch.
Yeah, no, it's really fun when you're not having that done to you.
Yeah, when it's not me, I love it.
Yeah.
When it's me, I close the game. Hero making a very strong argument to keep that warp gate, man.
Yeah, it's true, man. It's absolutely, yeah. Keep warp gate as strong as it is. Absolutely, would love it. But anyways, yeah, very crazy game so far. Clem really looking lost so far against the absolute dirtiness that is Hero. And I don't know, I feel like Hero doesn't really have too much reason to change it up too much. Just keep throwing out the craziness, just keep being as wacky and wild as possible. Clem right now is really struggling to find any foothold in the series.
Yeah, Hero, the most unpredictable player in the game right now. Clem seems to move every time I see him on camera, by the way. I just imagine him in some big French castle, moving from room to room, or the chateau.
He just, which giant mansion do I want to play in today?
Right.
That's not a French accent. But
Not even close.
I don't know.
Was it supposed to be?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't supposed to be. But
You shouldn't have brought it up.
No, I realized after. I was like, well, I should be doing a French accent.
Don't know.
Don't
Cast the rest of the game in French, Gemini.
Oh my god.
French accent. Okay.
Oui, this is the worst place I've ever played. I need my bigger house. Whatever.
Yeah, anyway, moving on. We're on Rorschach here. Our third game in the set between Hero and Clem. Clem in the bottom left, yet to get on the board, Gemini. Hero sitting pretty 2-0 up.
Yeah, man. I mean, we were kind of saying it. We were like, oh my god, this is finally the tournament. We're going to have a non-Protoss win. We got 4 Zergs. We got only 2 Protosses in the round of 8. And, well, would you look at this? We got Hero up 2-0 against Clem and basically a stone's throw away from making the grand finals. So, and
here we go.
Here we go again. Like I said, nothing to change right now. I feel like Hero is in the flow state when it comes to Protoss bullshit, and he is bringing out yet another one.
How does he choose these pylon placements? I feel like he has maps, like pictures of the maps on his wall, and he just throws a dart at it. I'm going to make my pylon here. Or he's in such unpredictable. Like, what's he looking for up here?
Maybe a proxy or something, or maybe he's going to take the gold base himself. We saw someone did this. I think it was maybe SHIN. One of the Zerg players took the gold base quite quickly. He took it as like a very fast 4th base in that matchup. So a couple of players have kind of toyed around with these gold bases on some of these newer maps. So perhaps Hero wants to try something like that as well, as he's put this pylon down in a very random location. This honestly speaks to me like a PvP proxied pylon moment where like you just put a random one somewhere, and after 2 games of cheese, you're expecting your opponent to then scout you to try and figure out what's going on, and then you proxy a pylon, and it's not actually doing anything. You're just trying to fake them and scare them. But it looks like Clem didn't actually go for the early scout, so unfortunately that mind game didn't really play out here for Hero.
Yeah, Clem is going to be going for the fast Marauder and concussive shells build here, adding in 2 more racks as well, going up to 3 racks. And yeah, this is going to be very good if Clem sends the units across the map. It will be difficult for them to get away. You can lose a Stalker if you're not careful. We do see the Zealot comes across, and okay, he sees that the concussive shell has done insta recall on the Zealot.
Oh, it gets out. That's actually crazy. I didn't think that was going to make it. I thought that was going to be a big waste for some energy right there. But yeah, we'll be able to save a Zealot, which... yeah, I mean, might as well. That's very nice, of course. The defense should be pretty fine, too, because obviously you just need a few units, at most a shield battery, so this shouldn't do too much.
And for the first time, Clem is actually going to be able to get into a good position here, hopefully in the mid-game, get to show his game plan a bit, not going to get cheesed early on and taken out of the game. We do see the Marauders coming across the map here, and it's going to be a Dark Shrine again.
Yeah, hold your words there, sir.
Yeah, I spoke too early, it seems.
That Dark Shrine is in the production tab, as the Guardian Shield will be popped, and not even a shield battery needed, just a few units, so that's going to be easily dealt with here by Hero. Stepping a little far forward as the third Marauder does find its way across, but great micro by Clem immediately, actually, and also turning on the Sentry, will be able to get a Stalker as well. That ended up going way better for Clem than I really would have ever thought.
Yeah, one more Marauder does survive, runs home in the red HP. And of course, we know that pylon is out on the map here as this T Shrine is almost completed. Charge is going to be the follow-up on the Twilight. And yeah, it's going to be about, is Clem ready for it this time?
Oh my god, the probe is coming up to the gold base
is
as
he gonna
well.
do it?
Dude, Hero is just bringing out everything today. I absolutely love seeing this. A little bit too far forward with some of these early units, as the bio count from Clem will be much higher, of course, given the fact that he went for this very fast play with the fast Marauder and everything. But very cool pylon positioning here as well, getting a little jump with the travel distance there. Oh, even sending a Marauder to the healing shrine as well to heal that one up. All of the little parts of the map being paid attention to by these two players. Love to see it. But does Clem
he see the shimmer?
See the shimmer is the next question.
It doesn't look like it. No reaction there. Oh, he's stimming out of the healing zone to get as much movement speed as possible whilst keeping his HP. That is sick.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I never thought about that. All right, well, DTs for the second time in the series. Will they be the winner? Yet again, the one scan being used at the front to be able to continue with the attack, but there is a DT in the main base already. Engineering bay not finished yet either, so no turrets can be placed down. All of the probes running around from the natural as the bio tries to get as much damage done because these DTs are not going to die anytime soon.
Yeah, there's a lot of bio in the main, but there's a DT going to town on them. They actually get taken out really quick with the probes being pulled as well. Workers going down on both sides. There is no Raven in this game, so Clem relying on just his scans right now for the moment, but only 11 workers lost compared to the 11 of Hero. This could have gone much worse, but it's not over yet.
Yeah, there's still going to be some more SCVs dying. Of course, this one is still on the natural, and there's no scan energy at the moment. The turret is still not even being finished up as well. It's just ring around the rosy, play the yakety sax music at this point, because this is just absolutely ridiculous. Total clown fiesta, as the DT will finally get killed off. But behind this, Hero has also taken that gold base, and it's already finished. The probe's not even recalled. They're just walking across. This is, I mean, he's on 27 SCVs, bro.
I thought for a moment like the worker kills are even, but taking the gold base as well is going to put Hero's economy so far ahead. That was like a horror movie for a second there, that DT chasing all the SCVs. Like Freddy Krueger, man. Yeah, so Hero's going to have this gold base unchecked for a while. I mean, how do you get out on the map and scout this as Clem? You're too worried about the DTs, right?
Yeah, you can't possibly get this information anytime soon. I mean, he's going to load up into the medevacs most likely, as of course those just spawned out, and you need to do something. Obviously, the Protoss has been able to go for the early DTs, so there's not going to be too much more follow that they can do after that. There's a little bit more build-up time to be able to get blink, to be able to get charge, all the extra gateways, yada yada. So there's a moment here where Clem will have the double medevac coming out and will send it right across, but a perfectly, conveniently timed probe gets that information as well, and Clem is probably just feeling like everything is going against him right now.
Yeah, insanely clutch scout by that probe. A Forge going to go down at the gold base as well. As this double drop makes its way over, we'll be able to get this pylon for free. A nice little pick off here for the moment as he continues his Widowmine and medevac production. Blink nearing completion now as well, as we have pylons being set up all across the map here by Hero.
Yeah, I do love this, just keeping as much map vision as possible, and then also able to just eventually randomly warp in a couple DTs throughout those pylons as well. Could also be very good if they don't get scouted. Hallucination will also be able to see this army movement, so Hero will be well prepared versus that, needing it in the middle of the map a little bit. He's got this ramp as well. It's quite large ramp, and that sentry is very bold, needs to run back home to that ramp. The rest of the stalkers do help on out as well, so that's going to make it very good for Hero as well. Needs to be able to kill a few of these units off and then blink away, and then should be able to defend.
Yeah, just get a Widowmine for free there. The force fields don't really cut off too much of the army, not the best there, but Hero has a lot of units right now in position. 4 more Stalkers warping in. Oh, he's retargeting to bait. Okay, yeah, very nice. Will blink away, but the Widowmine did not fire in the end, so Clem still has that available as this one medevac will make its way into the main base as well.
Yeah, this could be pretty good, of course, because Hero's very focused on the front. If Clem could just pull this attention as far away as possible while retaining enough of his units, this drop could kill quite a few probes, and it is doing that. 6 of them died already, as the medevac also will be able to escape. And now these extra units will be going over to the, actually, 4th base. I was about to say 3rd. It looks like the 3rd base from Clem's POV, but will be forced back yet again as well. Hero needs to just pretend that he's fighting for this, because then it's going to sell the fact that that gold is not actually there.
That's a very good point. Some mind games can come into this as Hero tries to push this army back. His own force field's somewhat getting in the way here. Nice blinking, picks off another unit, and Clem scans the gold base. He knows.
Yeah, that's a big tell right there, of course. Getting that information is going to be great for him. The blink forward, though, is here for Hero, trying to chase this army down. And honestly, I feel like the gold base has absolutely paid for itself at this point. I feel like Hero's army is definitely getting quite large compared to his opponent. He's going to be able to go into the Robo as well. And Clem is basically going to be forced back right now. He's scrambling to send some medevacs across because, of course, he needs some sort of distraction. Otherwise, Hero is just going to march on across into the natural. And I feel like recall was used relatively recently, so I don't think he's going to actually have a recall available. Yeah, it's barely over halfway down, so will, of course, be a base trade situation as Hero is going to commit.
Yeah, so much bio in the main here, taking out these pylons as the priority. Workers fall in on both sides. Now the SCVs try to get pulled, but Force Field will cut them out of the main. The natural CC is lifted. This bio gets down into the natural of Hero as well. And like you said, we are entering a kind of base race scenario here, but Hero still has that gold mining completely uncontested.
Yeah, that's going to be really good for him. And now another force field as well getting thrown down. A couple of medevacs try to lift a few of those units out, but not able to do too much there. 12 SCVs getting killed off in total. Lots of probes getting killed off as well, but I mean, he's still got so much more from that as well beforehand, and we'll be able to blink up into the main base, trying to focus down that Liberator to make it even more easy for him to just walk on through. It looks like for now, Clem might be able to hold off for just a little bit longer and continue the probe slaughter on the other side of the map, but everything hinges on this gold base.
Yeah, he's making Immortals up there at the gold base as well, so still making some very powerful units. Is Hero as he loses his bases. The workers trying to run away, trying to find any kind of safe haven as the Protoss army moves in, trying to delete the last bit of Terran army in the main.
Those are some nice force fields trying to choke up some of those Marauders. We'll be able to kill some of the SCVs as well. The medevac's out of energy and won't even be able to run away either. Will be focused down. One thing that was going pretty well for Clem for just a moment was that a lot of the production was actually killed off and depowered by Clem, so that made the army reinforcements a little less happening here from Hero. So it gave Clem some moments to possibly do something, but I feel like now there's just so much here for Hero, and Clem is really scrambling to find any amount of damage. Maybe if he was able to kind of connect both armies together at one point, might have been able to do something, but now he's just sitting here at 19 supply.
Yeah, he will eventually shut down the mine and the gold base, but the damage has been done. Clem down to 19 supply, forced to GG. Map number 3 going Hero's way in another crazy game. DTs into gold base. What are we doing here, Gemini?
I mean, Tasteless said that we weren't going to be seeing DTs again, and to be fair, it wasn't exactly in the same way, but I mean, still able to find the success. It seems like Hero is just completely in Clem's head right now, and Clem is just trying to do any little kind of greed to kind of get ahead here and there, but just missing the key information. And Hero, I mean, I feel like he's just got the Protoss, book of bullshit just open right on his desk right next to him. Just,
he wrote the book.
Just flipping the pages.
You check the front page, author, Clem. Hero.
He's just flipping these pages like, oh, maybe I could do this one. Oh, I could put the DT shot.
I remember making this one up,
Oh, this one's from, what, 10 years ago? Perfect time to bring it back in. Yeah, this is looking great right now for Hero, obviously. He's up 3-0 so far against Clem. He is really just trying to speed run this, get into that grand finals for tomorrow as soon as possible.
Yeah, he is not messing around. Clem, I mean, I feel like he made a really good shot at in such a bad situation in that game. Yeah, the base race was a good effort, but the goal base was just the clincher. If that's mining the whole time, you can't keep up, can you, in the end? And Hero takes it. I even like the hallucinate Colossus.
Yeah, just to give him the vision.
The vision, the high ground vision. Hero's so good, man. I know we just talk about how crazy he is, but he's
also good. There's a calculation to his craziness sometimes. Sometimes.
Sometimes. That's the hardest opponent, though. He's like one of the best players in the world and like the craziest.
Yeah, exactly. It's so hard to play against a player like this when they're actually, hitting on all cylinders and when all of their weird stuff is also working. Because sometimes the gambles just don't work.
Right.
This is one of those series that so easily could look completely opposite if Clem was just getting the right scouts, if he just saw that pylon at the natural on Celestial Enclave, if he just got the earlier scout on that gateway, if he just scouted in the right position or the right direction. Like, this so easily could be a series that's 3-0 for Clem and making Hero look like an absolute idiot.
Yeah, but as it is, Hero is on match point. This is a best of 7 as we move into Ruby Rock. Clem in the top left, Hero in the bottom right.
Yeah, Ruby Rock, a pretty small map, so definitely some opportunity yet again for Hero to bring out some shenanigans. Clem also, of course, could be a bit aggressive as well, but I feel like he wants to be trying to bring this into a more standard, stable game. He doesn't want to deal with the insanity of these early games at the moment, of course, because Hero's been really coming out ahead in that regard in all 3 of these games. So I feel like Clem just wants to try and get something stable. He just wants to get to the mid-game, try to use his mechanics and overall extremely solid multitasking style to eventually batter Hero down a little bit and force Hero off so that way he can't get to his, he can't let his craziness kind of dictate the pace.
Yeah, I do like the game plan of Hero. I mean, Clem is so, just talented and fast. He's so good at the game. But if you don't let him play the game because you do these wild builds and you take him out early, that's one way to do it. You see the probe coming across now. And just talk about map size. It's interesting to say we think like, oh yeah, a small map, this would be good for something crazy. Mm-hmm. But, Hero proxies on Exarch. Like, the rules do not apply to this guy.
Yeah, sometimes the rules actually work in the other favor. That the map is so big that it actually is better for proxies because there's just so many ways, so many places to proxy. You can see Clem even really respecting this. He's throwing that Marine across, trying to get the information. Very surprised, actually, that Clem is going for the Marauder concussive build twice in a row. I honestly feel like this build, I mean, obviously, I'm not Clem. I'm not a professional Terran player, but I always feel like whenever I see this build, it doesn't really do that much. Like, it doesn't really the initial harassment of the poke with the Marauder never does anything, of course, because the Protoss doesn't need that much to actually defend against it. Sure, of course, you then go into the follow-up 3-rack style and stuff like that. You can be very multitasking with it, but I feel like in general, I don't find it to be that incredible of a build, but obviously these players know more than I do, so he's going to be bringing it out once again, just assuming that Hero's not going to go for DTs again for the third time. And so we'll try to play it out in what would be a more normal way from his perspective.
Yeah, I really like this Marauder choice in the last game. Stemming off the health
that was cool.
Thing was very cool. That was like a nice little detail just to speed up that push. And against a lot of Protoss builds, I think that would hit so incredibly hard. Like, against stuff that isn't DTs in your base. But nonetheless, we don't see DTs this game. Hero going to be going for the Blink. Stim is on the way as well as the first few Terran units make their way across to this Protoss natural. And what do we have here right now? Just a few Stalkers on the ramp, one more in production.
Hero really was not expecting this to come out yet again. He doesn't even have a pylon at the front here, so he's actually forced to pull probes. So I guess the mind game here from Clem actually working out. This is, I was just talking about how I feel like I never see this build do damage, and now we see the most damage out of this build I feel like I've ever seen, where 3 probes going to get killed off. The Marauder barely trying to get that Stalker, unable to get it. So a couple of probes getting killed off there. I mean, you still sacrifice the Marauders and the Marines, so it always feels so strange from the Terran perspective too. It's like is that worth it? Is that the goal of the build, is to kill 3 probes and lose all of those early units? It's very interesting.
Yeah, it feels like maybe it's not worth it, but Clem has taken a big income advantage here, as we do see, up into the 300-400s with those mules as well. Factory on the way, and he's making 2 Marauders at a time behind this, so the counter punch shouldn't do too much, I feel, from Clem, but he does have Blink. So he can try and pick off a unit here or there, just get some free damage, only take shield damage and try and get whatever he can here. Linking back that Stalker very well. Just some HP for the moment, no kills on this Terran army. Oh wait, did one unit go down there?
Yeah, he got one Marauder
yeah.
actually.
He got one Marauder, okay, that's nice then.
Yeah, we'll be able to try to dive a second one, but loses a Stalker in the meantime, so a bit of a reach there, and one of them also very low on HP, so Hero kind of, you know, reaching a little bit too far into the cookie jar there, as Stim is also about to finish, so it's going to be more difficult for Hero to actually continue this pressure, but he still wants to be on this side of the map. He wants to kite this army as it's coming across, because it's going to force stims, and even when they do stim, you can just blink away, or you can have the chance of dealing more damage, as the Prism also will help to reinforce this, so he's going to be even more aggressive. I don't think Clem's going to be expecting this many units, especially behind the line of sight blocker.
He's hiding in the grass. So many stalkers there with the
trees are speaking to me. Oh my god!
It's like commando, man, like camouflage in a bush or something. But hide on bush right there. The SCVs are pulled, and all the Marauders are falling. It's only Marines right now trying to chase this army away, but there's just no firepower in this Terran army anymore.
Dude, is he just dead? Like, are you... This is insane. He's still blinking forward. Gonna be able to focus down that Marauder as well. Nice micro, actually keeping it alive with like 1 HP, but the Prism still here. There's always the opportunity to be able to blink into the main base or even just continue at the front. Clem really was not expecting so many units to be meeting him in the middle of the map like that, and Hero is gonna continue to snowball this as much as possible.
Yeah, it just feels like if you can get enough Marauders out, he can stabilize, but Hero not letting that happen. Keeping his foot on the gas here. Nice pickup on that Stalker. The Observer lets him see everything, of course. And 3 Stalkers being warped in at a time. A third Nexus going up behind this, as well as the Forge. Clem does have the upgrade advantage once this +1 finishes, but that might not even matter. The medevac gets picked off there.
Yeah, forward blink. Hero's really feeling it. Tries to go for the focus fire. Does get the medevac and a couple more Marauders, and then we'll be able to just kite away. Continues to use that Prism to pick everything up, not dying to those random shots from the bio. Unfortunately, that Observer... Oh, that he sieged that. I was going to say, there's no Raven. Like, how did he see that? So, unfortunately, Hero kind of forgetting what patch it is and actually sieged that up and just let it die. But the force field is out and will be able to block that ramp, forcing that medevac to try and drop them in. And yeah, Hero's just not going to take his foot off the gas at this point. He's just continuing to chip away at the SCV count while he just gets his third nice and saturated.
Yeah, that mule even pulled to the front there, like, what am I doing here? I can't do anything right now. Okay, but finally Clem's starting to get a bit of an army together, starting to kite. The Zealots being added to this army as well now. This army is big from Hero. And charges on the way, about 60-70% done, +1 as well being made back home for Hero, so he's not completely all in. You know, he's transitioned, he's got a third base as well. Clem scans it. A little bit of a grimace on his face as he sees that.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, this is also not even off of an insane amount of gateways out of here. This was just a 3-gate build. It wasn't like this is super committed 4-gate or anything. He's got a couple more now, of course, because he's, you know, it's gone a bit longer. But initially, when this was set up, it was just 3. So it wasn't even like he was going super all in, because he's got that third base coming out. The Robo Bay is also coming out as well. And I feel like the medevac count has been thinned out, and all the energy has also been used up. That Hero now can just continue to go into the natural, just trying to end this game. You can see the pickup micro is still very good from Clem, though. He's doing his absolute best to try and stay alive in this game, and there is a chance here that Hero does kind of overcommit, but the SCV pull continues to make it so that he's hemorrhaging units here and there. It's so difficult for Clem to get any stability.
Yeah, Clem 20 workers behind almost here. Some Stalkers may die in the retreat. The War Prism will get away as well. There's only 2 Marines in that army, mostly Marauders and Widow Mines right now. Got to be careful. You do not want to lose a medevac with units in it at this point in the game. And Colossus being made as well for Hero. He's starting that transition, getting thermal lance, getting his +2 as well.
Wow, a third base coming down from Clem. I mean, you kind of need something. You need to be able to get some economy going again. I feel like it's going to be impossible to do any sort of 2-base all-in. So yeah, Clem is just trying to get something going for this mid-game so that way he can, again, get that stability like I was mentioning, because he has not found that at all this series. We have a Widowmine drop going into the third base, so if Hero's not paying attention, which he wasn't for a moment, but was just barely able to split off a few of those probes, so perfect reactions there from Hero, even with the stuff going on in the middle of the map, is able to defend everything. And so for now, Clem still very far behind in the economy. That could have really helped to even it up. But you're going to have to do more against Hero than that, basically, to find an easy advantage.
Yeah, so impressive to only lose 2 probes there while you're fighting in the middle of the map. Hero's playing absolutely on fire right now. We see another Widowmine drop come in. Hero's in position, though. The probes will get pulled a little bit later this time.
Wow.
Only 3 go down. Could have been way worse, I feel like, if they grouped a little bit. Okay, but the medevac dies with the mines in it as well.
Yeah, so those are going to just get killed off for just a few probes. I mean, sure, he's getting a couple probes here and there, but you need the huge shot. Like, you need to get a solid 10 probes with these Widow Mines to find yourself in a comfortable position. And even then, I don't even know if that just automatically swings it for Clem or anything, just because the advantage that Hero has had this whole time has already kicked in. He's got all of these extra upgrades coming in. He's got his Colossus tech already on the field. The Vikings are starting to come on out, and we even have a Liberator defensively from Clem as the Widow Mine drop finds its way in yet again, but once more, the defense from Hero, as now the forward blink from Hero as well, just continuing to go in here, just wants to end this game before Clem can get this third base set up.
Yeah, 2 Colossus with this push as well. The SCVs have to escape. The CC will actually have to lift as well, not even an orbital yet. Will this go down? The Stalkers start to focus fire rate, and it is going to fall. And with it, Clem's economy and the game. Hero takes it 4-0 over Clem. Can you believe it?
What the? Brother, it's 6:45. This is before we normally start our normal broadcast. Jesus, that was a fast set of games out of all the players today, but Hero really just came with just the... I feel like he had something out for Clem. I don't know, maybe Clem, like, you know, made fun of his dog or something. I don't know, like, he wanted to just murder him right there. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he played that series so well, I've got to say. He didn't really make many mistakes.
No.
Like, there's not really a moment you can point to that game like, oh yeah, Hero messed up there, but then he just played well the whole series. His strategy choices were really good. Took a lot of risks, obviously.
Yeah.
A lot of risks. Calculated risks.
A lot of risks.
A lot of risks, Gemini. But they paid off. I mean, he got the damage, and he wins the set 4-0. I mean,
absolutely ridiculous showing from Hero. I mean, what more do you expect, to be honest? I mean, despite all of the insane storylines we've had throughout this season, despite everything, it all leads back, like you said at the beginning of the broadcast, all the roads lead back to Hero and Protoss in an RSL Grand Finals.
Yeah, indeed. But this is good news, because if you have bad games, well, not bad games, if you have one-sided games today, you have bangers tomorrow.
That's how it always pays out.
That's how it goes. Yes. And let's look at tomorrow, Gemini. We have Lambo Rogue. Will be our first series of the day. The winner of that will go on to play Clem. Whew. That will be amazing. Lambo Clem or Rogue Clem, both rematches, right?
Yeah.
From the playoff, Clem played Rogue there. Clem did take that 3-1, and then Clem and Lambo played in the group stage, right?
Yeah, well, they also played right there in the upper bracket there, too.
Oh,
so,
yeah, and that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, so Clem was able to beat him twice. He's beaten Rogue as well. So Clem looking like the favorite overall against whoever does make it out of that other lower bracket group of those 2 Zergs. But... I mean, maybe an upset could happen. I mean, Rogue has been on fire in the lower bracket, and he did the lower bracket run last season as well, so perhaps he can bring up the upset. He was able to do that against Maro last season, so very curious to see what ends up happening.
Yeah, me and Mapu had a bet. I think I said Rogue's going to win this season.
Oh, wow.
And
you're very scared at the moment, I feel like.
No. He's still in, man. At this point, if he's in, I'm feeling confident.
Okay.
And then Mapu said Bunny was going to get to Grand, so...
Mapu, what the...
But, it was just a fun bet,
Yeah,
sure. But anyway, here's the schedule. It is the 30th of May today. We have one more day of StarCraft tomorrow. To round out the season, it will be the last day. It will also start at the same day as today's broadcast, which is 4 p.m. KST. You have the corresponding times there. I don't know what they are. What's EDT?
Eastern time, I think that's like the East Coast of America, right? Or is that European time? Yeah,
that's
New York.
You're the
Eastern.
American here,
Yeah,
dude.
I said Eastern. Yeah, Eastern America. Yeah, I did it.
There we go.
Anyways, give us the next slide. Stop talking about schedules, Ziggy. All right, Archon Studio, very nice. We, of course, love these guys. They've been helping us out for so long, ever since we started this whole tournament. We've been really floored with all of their support, and their stuff looks awesome. I mean, their miniatures look so exact to how they look in the game and the cutscenes and everything. They look really great, and the game is fun, too. It's like an actual game. It's not just, collectors, figures or whatever. So the game itself is pretty fun as well. I've watched a couple videos of some of the tabletop YouTubes, trying to play it out and stuff like that, and it's great. It's been awesome. So go ahead, check them out, of course, for all the tabletop needs and all that good stuff.
Yeah, me and Gemini are going to go have a game of that right after this broadcast.
No, we're not. But anyways, we will hopefully see you guys tomorrow for the big shebang. The final day of RSL Season 5 is tomorrow. It's going to be starting at 4 p.m. KST. Do not miss it. We will see you then. Bye-bye.